Beautiful people, welcome to How to Trade, formerly known as That Midday Show. That is your girl, Sataya. Yes.
This is Sharif, as you should know by now. Come on.
I love the attitude. Let's get it, girl.
And we are back on the Midday Show.
We are, and for whatever reason, we're flying in the stars there. He always reminds me of Hanna-Barbera, by the way. I don't know why. All right, let's do the roll call here because we got the OGs rolling on in from the other stream. Thank you for joining us. We got the OG Darwin, Piper, Rob, EV, and there is no such thing as an improper paradox. Shout out to him. Ronaldo, 9 to 5 grand. We got Gore of the OG as well. Pitchbull, excuse me, Andrew Chow at Anurag, 605. We got Starburst, Frisky Supreme. First time I'm shouting you out, I think. We got the OG Zion Lala and the Piper as well. Ari Pages, Thomas Click. We got Adrian, we got Glenn, Chow to you as well. Glenn, Rob EV, we got Blue Arrow, John Manzoni, Oliver Casteros. A day trader cut. How can we forget about him? Benton C. Come on, you gunners.
Go.
I don't like international breaks, Benton. I don't know how you feel. Disciplined trades. We got Omar. We got Blazing Bud. John D. John Dale. Just Some Dude is also in the chat. Sataya,
I love that name.
Right, and Tara. Why not? We got who else? One more here.
Fernando.
We got Fernando.
Yes.
You get the last word. How you doing? How's this morning?
I am good. I'm doing great. Pumped up for this Friday. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about risk management. So I feel like on the show we talk a lot about learning how to trade, but sometimes we don't talk about learning when to sit on our hands and not to trade. So that is something that I wanted to talk a little bit about today. So today we will be covering how to identify when and why you are losing, how to retain profits, as well as how to prevent over trading. So on the show, we talk a lot about learning how to trade, but I feel sometimes we don't talk about learning when not to trade and how this can impact our P&L. So rather than having a playbook for every second of the day, you should be mindful of when and how you are losing. For some of us, the consistency of our trading is not what we are struggling with, but rather our risk management at times where our trades are not working. For example, there have been days where 9 times out of 10, my days were green, but on the 10th trade, I would wipe out my profits on the 10th day by over trading at times where I lacked edge. So I typically lap edge around 1 to 3 p.m. or every first week of the month. That's what I found. As I journaled, I realized that I have a 75% loss rate trading on the first day of the month and a 65% loss rate trading the first week of the month. So that is something that I've learned through journaling. So I have here identifying your losing streaks by journaling. So with journaling, you're building a database with screenshots or records of your trades that will allow you to familiarize yourself with patterns of your winning and losing streaks. So in these journals, you want to ask yourself very specific questions, guys. You want to ask yourself, when am I losing? What time frames am I losing? What day of the week do I tend to lose? What time of day? Am I most profitable at the beginning of the month or the end of the month? And so these are like little nuances that you should know and you should keep track of. So here is I like to use Notion for my journaling. So this is just a little bit of an example of a little bit of a database that I've had over going through my trades and just journaling some bad trades. And so it's just a list of good and bad trades setups that I have on there. So Notion is a really good tool for you guys to use. But going back to the slide, this is what we're getting into. So when you figure out your database and your stats, how do what are you going to do with that? And so there's one of 3 things that I like to do when I have, all of this information. So there's one of 3 things that you can do. You can avoid trading on that day as a whole. Just forget about it, leave it. If you're realizing that, okay, Mondays are a really bad trading day for me, just leave it alone. There's no point on you continuing to trade on that day and keep losing money unnecessarily. Or you could have rules around how much profit you're allowed to give back once you are profitable on the day. So let's say you are, you're stubborn and you're saying, I want to trade this day, but you want to make sure that you're capping your losses on those days where, you don't have that edge. So an example that I like to use is I'll only risk 30% of my profits when I am profitable on the day. So once I lose that 30%, I am not allowed to trade for the rest of the day. I am done, I'm capped off. This allows me to lock in 70% of my profits and prevent myself from overtrading when I start losing. And then another thing that you can do as well is just have a set amount you're willing to lose on the day. So if you're not typically profitable on a certain time, day or time frame, you could say, hey, I only want to lose $25. That's the risk that I'm going to allot myself for the day. And once you hit that risk, then you should just cut it off. But I would just recommend fully for you to just avoid trading on that day. You know, save yourself some mental capital and risk and just keep it off of the table. So that is something that I like to do as well. So increasing your P&L doesn't always necessarily mean finding a new trade setup or creating a new playbook, but rather eradicating and leaving your desk completely at times or days you lack edge. Sometimes increasing your P&L just means finding times you're losing the most and avoiding those times so you're not digging yourself into a hole. No trade days should be considered positive. That means you're disciplined enough to know exactly what you're looking for. The goal in trading is not to treat it like a 9-to-5 job in the same sense that you're trading every second of the day simply because you can. If you can find a setup where you can, dedicate a time, a couple of hours, even a couple of minutes if you're that good at it, and, stick to those time frames. If you could find those setups, this is best. We know you love trading, but your obsession with trading and lack of discipline to refrain from trading can also be the reason why you're unprofitable. So just be aware of that, and that's something that's, good to know. So another thing is just knowing the type of trader you are. I know some of you guys are really familiar, but I feel like really just reminding yourself of the trader you are will prevent you from getting, in hot water. So identify, am I a day trader? Am I a swing trader? Am I a long-term investor? I found that when I came here, I didn't really know that. I came from more of a swing trading background, and so transitioning into day trading was, a little bit of something that I had to remind myself, hey, you're a day trader, you're not a things from a specific, kind of way. So figure those things out, and I feel like it will help you really narrow in and determine what your strengths are, right? So am I a momentum trader, scalper, a range trader, a breakout trader, a morning drive trader, a power hour trader, whatever it may be, just be specific about who you are and really hone in on that. And so that is something that I really think is key. And then another thing is just being specific about what you're looking for. I found that I started increasing my P&L when I was just looking for something specific. Before, I was trying to gain so much information from people on the floor, and so I was gaining, knowledge from Obi and who else? Jose, Justin. Those are people on the floor. And so, but the thing is, I needed to develop my own trading strategy. And so reversions, it was great to know about, but that wasn't my typical trading strategy. And I found that I was trying to combine all these strategies into one. And it's just better to have a playbook with 3 to 5 trades so that you're not making things up as you're looking at the charts. So what we have here is increase your P&L by trading less. When you have 3 to 5 distinct setups, you're looking for something specific and you prevent yourself from over trading. So if I'm looking for something specific, this is why I can identify if it's range trading, if it's barcoding, I say, hey, this is not for me, and I just leave it alone for that day, and I don't even attempt it because I start to get tilted. So when you have too many setups as well, or no setup at all, it becomes easy to see things on the chart that are simply not there because you have not taken the time to master a specific play. Just become a master of something super specific. I have become a master of my VWAP floor, my VWAP ceiling, identifying those, and so that has really helped me. And just by simply identifying that has helped my trading as well. And then just knowing my strengths of when I'm really not a good trader, and that's typically after 11:30, after 12, or between 1 and 3. I typically start losing then. I have no edge. Just recognize that. And so, yeah, that's what I did. And then jack of all trades is a master of none, and that's just something that you should really keep and hone in and recognize. And that is my lesson of the day.
That's fantastic right there, man. I mean, it may all sound like general advice, but that is sound advice, guys. I mean, I really like how you have your data points, especially with respect to your trading, how well you do, locked down.
Yeah.
That's fantastic right there.
Yeah, because every day I was just losing on the first day of the month, and it's just why am I trying? was trying to see if I could create an edge, but it's just better for my P&L to just stop trading on the day so that I can just start to get leverage on the days that I'm really good at trading. So.
Yeah, it makes absolute sense. Thank you very much, Satya, for dropping that lesson. Yeah, let's have a look at what's moving right now. I'm involved in a trade on Apple. I've already taken out some profits over here. If this dips down a little bit more, it's looking like it's rejecting VWAP, Fabian, coming into that volume-weighted average price where it found resistance before it. It also did find some support. So if it dips down below 228.10, I'm cutting it for the remaining piece. Over here, it's not really the one that's in play on the day. I'm also seeing right now a possible head and shoulders setup on the 5-minute on goggles, on GOOGL, with the neckline being around 163. You could see that 163 was a level of defend earlier in the day. All these bottom wick candles from above bounce off 163, but we are putting in successively lower highs, coming in for a possible flat bottom break off 163. Obviously, I'm not talking about the flat bottom break in the classical sense, because we know the head and shoulders is defined by its neckline. The neckline here, to me, at least, on a cursory view, 163 seems to be the neckline. Not inclined, not declined, just straight horizontal right now at that 163 level. But it has found support there on 3 prior occasions, and currently it is finding support. So maybe don't jump the gun on this one and allow it to confirm the neckline break. And even that, you'll recall from our lesson on head and shoulders, that you can often wait for the neckline break and then wait even more to see if it comes back to test the neckline as resistance, not support this time. I would submit to you that level, you should be looking at 163. We'll see what we get there. It's still developing, as you can see, it's still holding up. I didn't get stopped out of Apple. It's still holding this position right now at about the third of a dollar. I'm looking at wetting my beak for the next profit taker in front of that $0.50. By extension, it's got to claim, or at least claim on an intra-candle basis, that 50 penny, VWAP. It's got to retake VWAP. As you saw on this candle here at 11:05, it wicked into VWAP, and then we had an inverse hammer candle, which is not a good look. However, we still had higher lows prior to the previous candle, or as relative to, the prior candle. So we'll keep an eye out on that. I'm also noticing strength in the ZON. I know the boys already covered that. We're putting in a bit of a skewed double top right now into this high 189s. We'll wait to see if that ends up giving way. I do like a possible VWAP dip on AMZN at 188.51. I also happen to like, though, this level at 188.25. So I'm a little caught between two minds right now as to whether to set up a possible dip trade at 50s to account for VWAP, or to look for this area top. This is why I like the $0.25. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 candle rejection at 188.25 before we take it decidedly on a closing basis at 10 after 5. So, 5 after 10. Yeah, we weren't up then. Quite yet. So AMZN in focus. Meta continues to kind of be weak after breaching through $600 a few days ago. So those are the trades I'm looking at right now. Not a whole lot. It's Friday and I'm kind of tired. TWG obviously is the small cap gapper du jour that I've got my eye on, and it's a big 237%, $210 million market cap with 86.25 million shares traded today, a float of 9.1 million, and my trade idea is expired, so I don't have the short float. So we'll wait for Michael Noss hopefully to get back to me and re-up my account. So TWG, certainly on watch. PACB, who remembers this from the regional banking crisis? PACB on watch. APPS as well on watch. Hell of a move there. Snow is a holdover from yesterday, continues to be strong. Snowflake, that entire sector seems to be strong. MSTR as well. Big boy moves in MicroStrategies. This thing is a dang rocket ship. It's up over 12% today, and it hasn't breached the 10 exponential, at least on my chart. I yelled to Obi as this one was breaking 200. It just touched 206.60. So very strong right now. We have a bit of an inverse hammer candle that just popped in there. So be careful. The mean reversion trade can be mean Shout out to OB. So those are the ones that I'm looking at right now. Shout out to Adara as well. NIVF I've got on as well. As you can see, it kind of had the best move in the aftermarket yesterday after that 4 o'clock break. It took $1. It's doing its darndest right now to take that dollar. It's still having trouble with it. There's a different trade to be had into $1 and then from $1. So I'm keeping my eye here on NIVF, and it behooves me to know the deets on this one as well. It is a 10.1 or $10.25 million market cap with 31.75 million shares and about 4 million share float. And there goes the dollar on NIVF. It hasn't been up here at least, since the pre-market. We had that pre-market high kind of shadowing that $1.15 that we kept rejecting off yesterday. So we have a higher low today on NIVF. If this wants to get going and breach that aftermarket top, say at $1.05 or thereabouts, I'm all eyes, baby. I'm all ears, eyes, and whatever the hell else I need to have. I just got stopped at Apple right there as it breached 228.10. Still positive on it. I only had a little bit here, but we'll see what VWAP brings, because it looks like Apple's rejecting off VWAP right now, Satya.
So I am looking at BAC as of right now. This one is really interesting to me. I'm looking for this top breakout here around this 42.05 level. Looks like it's rejecting a little bit off of there as of right now, but I'm really interested to see if we can move further from there. I like the fact that it's above that VWAP, but I want to see if we can get above 42.10, then it looks pretty nice for the long, but I want to see more confirmation there, just because I just don't like the fact that it's just rejecting every time it comes to this level around 42.08, 42.10. So that is what I'm looking at. Pretty interesting look there. Another thing that I was looking at is Uber. Uber is really interesting to me as well. Looking at this top, so the top did break here. We're breaking through that 85 mark here, so just going here. And so I really like this, like that as well. Like the fact that it stayed above VWAP. We're holding. The trend is pretty strong here on the minute. If we look on the higher time frame, on the 15-minute, looks really good, looks really nice. I want to see a bus stop level. Let's see here. I'm going to go here on a higher time frame. Don't necessarily see one on very close. Okay, oh wow, are we breaking through highs on Uber? Are we at all-time highs?
Yeah,
oh my,
yeah,
oh.
Neil was yelling about that.
Oh, what the heck?
So,
oh,
yeah.
Wow. So there is no bus stop level in sight as of right now. I was just like, what the heck? But yeah, this one looks really good as well. Pretty strong. Really like that as well. I want to see that hold of 85s. I would definitely look for a dip buy there at 85s. Definitely would like to see that risking around probably this prior bar low, 84.56. That looks really nice. Or I just wait for a retracement around 84.44, a little bit of a pullback. I definitely think that it could reach there before, continuing the trend there. But that looks really nice as well. Uber is blue skies. I took the long on the dip, resistance turning support from 10 a.m. Shout out to you, man. That is great. That looks really good. Yeah, wow, yeah, that is like, oh, and we're going to...
You're good. Finish your thought.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really like that 10 a.m. bounce. Typically, that's when the new trade set up. Really nice and great above VWAP, and we're going to Adara.
Keep an eye on TDOC here, Teladoc. We know we have PACB, another name in this space associated with Cathie Wood and ARK Invest moving up here, but TDOC getting its highest volume candle in at least 2 days here. We have Politico Pro article circulating here saying that the DEA is apparently signaling, or at least poised, to extend temporary rules which allow that controlled substances can be prescribed via telemedicine. So basically, rules that allow the prescription of controlled substances via telemedicine could potentially be extended. This would, of course, help TDOC. So keep an eye on that name. A little bit of a volume spike there for Teladoc, and they also do have a short float of about 16.4%, guys.
Thank you very much, Adara. While Satya was dropping hot lines, I took a bit of a mean reversion short on MicroStrategies, and true to form, I paper handed this one as well, but we took $1, so that's okay. We took it short 204.25. I was able to, not quite $1, 80 pennies. I wet my beak there at 204.60, so not a bad look. It's still heading down. I like this possibly as a long at 200. So keep your eye out on this one. It's moving dollars at a time. You're going to have to account, number one, for the spread, number two, for the volatility. I mean, it's literally, I'm serious, moving 50, 60 pennies in one fell swoop there. I like the 200, couple of reasons, psychological support possibly, as well as this area hold up on MSTR. It's a dang rocket ship. I mean, it was 12% when I was yapping about it. It's 10 3/4 right now. Let's do a little bit of charting here on the 5 minute. So looks like that dip was into the 10 exponential. So this may have more legs, okay? Looks, we didn't even get into the 10 exponential on that wick. We got into 202 and a half. The 10 exponentials at the $0.25. This candle obviously still hasn't closed in, so keep your eye out on MSTR. I'm still long bias on this one, but this was just too much of a nice topping tail candle followed by a red candle to make a new low. So I punched short the second it made a new low. I had to chase it. I tried to get it a little bit higher in the high 204s. I couldn't get it in the high 204s, so I had to punch down again. Obviously, by virtue of that, I got a worse price. But we executed okay on it. I'll look to do a little bit better next time. This one, though, TWDANG-G. It looks like it's also holding up above the 10 exponential. You love that, especially for these small cap gappers that are so momentum driven. Let's be honest about it. There's not really a fundamental reason people are buying into this. And if there is, it's probably not really warranted given the price action 233% in a day. We'll see. We'll see. The market will let us know. But the point is to be able to take it when it's hot. And you know it's hot when it can't even touch the 10 exponential on a retracement. That's an ugly topping tail candle. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to sing its praise. But the fact that it held up against above the 10 exponential and is reclaiming 7, super interesting here. I think we have small cap recap, Fabian. Sector watch, my mistake.
We're going to take a look here at some of the largest percentage movers here on the S&P 500, both to the upside and to the downside, though all of these names today are going to be to the upside. It's also, I like to have a theme for this each time I do it. Today's theme is going to be continuation plays on watch. First off, we have First Solar, FSLR. This one sold off pretty aggressively yesterday, down about 9%. We did get a price target decrease from Jefferies. It's second of the week following a price target cut from BofA Securities on Tuesday, but also some of these solar names in general were weaker yesterday as we got that higher than expected. CPI print, FSLR today, though, up about 4.5%. Next up, we have DPZ. Domino's Pizza up almost 5% here. They had their earnings yesterday, a bit of a mixed report. Actually getting price target decreases from Piper Sandler, Morgan Stanley, and JP Morgan, but still pushing higher today for DPZ. And last but not least, Norwegian Cruise Line holdings basically at high of day here, NCLH. We had a nice little reversal here for a lot of these cruise line and travel stocks, which were weaker earlier on oil strength driven by the situation in the Middle East. We had the pullback in oil prices, which led to a bit of a rally in these names. Then they all got a price target increase across the board from Citigroup, with Norwegian Cruise Lines actually getting upgraded to buy and getting a $30 price target. So NCLH on watch. Lots of continuation plays to the upside, guys.
Yeah, Sate and I just talking about Amazon over here. I was looking at the Amazon. Thank you very much for that. Obviously, Adara needed to say that. But Sate and I were talking about Amazon, Fabian. And what I was looking at over here was, I don't want to call it a double top, but certainly looks like it. But we came into an interesting level, 188.5. What is that level? The volume weighted average price. So I looked over to Sate. I'm like, hey, what do you think about this? And I think she astutely pointed out that this 188, and personally for me, 188.25 looks a little bit better. Why is that? Well, there's a whole lot of chop and churn price action wise at that level. So it's not just a line on your chart, albeit VWAP respected by big money and hedge funds use it and stuff. So I don't mean to disparage it, but the fact of the matter is it's a line, and you're putting, if you have a resting order at VWAP, you may or may not get the move, right? It could blow through your level. What I see over here is actual proven price action churn. So we'll see if it holds up at this 188.25. If it doesn't, though, if it holds up at VWAP, I will be very interested in getting long. It's doing the dance right now. 188.5, a little bit above the half, a little bit below. It's 3 candles now, 3 5-minute candles doing the chop and churn at the volume weighted average price. Let's put some respect on Amazon's name, man. Amazon was big boy yesterday. It's up a percent again. I mean, it had a nice move up. Obviously, it gave some back there during the midday. It had a good day prior to it. How many days? So this is 4 green days right now for the Zon, right? I mean, like that's pretty good. So I'm a little bit long bias on it at the moment. We're gonna wait and see whether we can get a hold up here at the volume weighted average price. Super interesting to me. In the exact opposite way, Meta is looking like a possible interesting short, maybe off VWAP, right? It used VWAP initially and during the opening range there up until about 1045 as support. Once it gave up VWAP, it started using it from the sell side as resistance. And here we go. We're about 25 pennies, 30 pennies away from that volume weighted average price. You're not going to see me with a resting order there either. It's going to have to get there, reject, and then prove to me that it's going to use VWAP as resistance. If that means me missing a good price, then that so be it. That's cost doing business. So that's what I'm looking at right now. It looks like Google, though, not really breaking in the way that I thought. Where is it? So it got down into 162.90, not the distance I would want for a neckline break on a head and shoulders, especially if I earmarked that 163 area as the neckline or what I perceive to be the neckline. So if that's the case, a 162.90 ain't gonna cut it for me. Break, that is. So yeah, it looks like maybe putting in lower highs and lower low, maybe a downward channel. Still bullish though, price action wise on goggles, just by virtue of the fact that, well, it's up 2/3 and it's above VWAP. So there's a whole bunch going for it right now. I don't want to be guessing whether or not this is a head and shoulders pattern. So I'm going to pack my patience there. Amazon is still holding up at VWAP. I'm interested in this name. I don't need to be first, but it's a good look there. Stay, what are you looking at?
For sure. I'm looking at Tesla as of right now. Someone said Tesla in the chat. And honestly, since we broke that 250, I've never been convinced with Tesla on the long. I mean, I took some scalps on it a couple days before, but I feel like we could definitely test to that $200 level. It's a psychological level. I feel like, you know, there's some people thirsty for those dip buys, and we're only $20 away, $19 away from it. And I definitely think that that is a level that we can get to as of right now. For me personally, you know, you could see a setup today for the long or the short, but I'm just not convicted yet until I see the break of 250 or the retracement to 200. That's me personally. I'd want to see the bounce around 200, or if we could go above 250, then I'd be looking at the long at 250. But as of right now, when we're in this middle ground, I don't really like it, to be honest. I don't really feel like we have any confirmation. And so that's just what I think on Tesla. So on SoFi, this one is interesting as well. What is interesting about this level is we had this bounce around 1024. I really like when there's typically like a distinction and different trade after 10 a.m. So here, like between, okay, this was 10. Okay, so I thought it was on a different time frame. But I like the bounce around 10, after 10. And then we have this bounce here at this 878. So we bounced at 877, 878, and I like this kind of slow trend up on the 3-minute here. And I like the fact that we're holding VWAP, had a little bit of a consolidation, a little bit of a dance there. And then what I like and what is distinct to me is this break of this small range here. It just felt like it was a tug of war, push and pull, who's going to win. And then we had this distinct break here above this 885 level. And so an interesting level that I'm looking at is 892. Could be a rejection off of there, so just be mindful of that, you know. But I think that if we break 892, I definitely think that we could possibly see 895, maybe possibly even $9. And so I really like the look of that as well. Really strong on SoFi from there. And then the QQQs, I typically like to, yes, I like the TQQs and the QQs. Triple Qs, whatever you want to call it. And so I like to look at this just because it has volume typically. It has like a high ATR. And so I'm always looking at this periodically as well. I like the fact that we didn't really break VWAP too much. We broke it around 9:39 and then around 10 a.m. But I like the fact that it bounced at that 10 a.m. It was kind of a sell-off in the morning, and then we had that bounce at 10 a.m. And typically, I don't know, it could be just my playbook, but I find at 10 a.m. there's typically a different trade setup. So it was bearish in the morning from 9:30, and then at 10 a.m. we had this bounce here. And I really like that, pretty strong up there. I want to see the hold of VWAP in order for me to be convicted in this trade. Looking back on a higher time frame, bus stop level that I'm looking at is 494.50. That is a very interesting kind of look to me, but triple Q is looking pretty strong, looking really nice uptrend there. And then looking on Amazon, you brought, good looks on Amazon. Really interesting level here. That 188.25 definitely is an interesting level. Probably looking for possibly a dip by there. Want to see how it interacts at that level. If there is a strong bounce at that 188.25, definitely would be very convicted in the long. But if it breaks this 188.25, I want to see what it does at that 188 level. That is a level that I'm looking at. Want to see how it interacts there. And I feel like if we break that 188, maybe I might get in for a quick scalp, maybe a 2-3 minute scalp, and see what we do from there. And that is what I'm looking at. And then another thing, before I pass it off to Sharif, I wanted to look at TSM, just because TSM popped up on my trending ticker list. Yeah, it was on there. And so, but the thing is, I guess, did it do anything in pre-market? I guess it had like a strong bid action here off the open, here blasting through these pre-market highs around 188.60. Really good look on that, but now it's kind of just stalling out, which I don't like. It's in this range here, 188.93 to, oh, don't know what I did there, whoops. And then, and then this range here at 190.90. So we have this range here. Don't really like that. I want to see a distinct breakout above this 190.97 or below this 188.94. Just don't like this range. I feel like it doesn't know what it wants to do as of yet. What are you looking at, Sharif?
We just took some profits there on Zon. I think we're about 20 pennies in the money off that VWAP hold. Right now, where am I long? 59. So yeah, just took out 77. Not quite there yet. Looking for this bad boy to hold up. I'm also long TWG off that 6 1/4 level. That was the level that we kind of crested out at around 10.15 and 10.20. It was a bit of a double top there. We're right at that level. It's also shadowing the 20 exponential. It could be a 6 dip. Maybe I'm in too early on TWG, but we're going to find out, aren't we? Because it's coming down. So this could be trouble for me here. Already 10 pennies out of the money, and here we go with 6. It looks like I'm going to get stopped out of this bad boy unless it gets up super quick over here. We're long 33s or so. We're zigging and zagging above that level. I was expecting this level to hold up, but that's the way it is. We try to put the odds in our favor, and sometimes they just don't. So this one zigging, zagging above 6 for the moment, and I think I have quite a lofty target here in that I have my beak wetter just south of 7. So at 88. Okay, so we're getting a bit of a bounce momentarily here, back to $1/3. Let's see if we can weasel into the half. Seller at 40, got taken out. Here comes the half again. Now we're in the money on this. Not by much at all, quite frankly. And far, far away still from my beak wetter, my profit taker for all the newer viewers. $0.50 incoming, seller at 46, 45-ish. Let's see if they can get smoked to the upside over here. This up 201%. Let's put some respect on this one's name. But it is a volatile stock, so get ready for the bamboozlement. It is fast, it is furious, and it is real. Okay? And you're going to have to account for that if you want to trade these small cap gappers. There's no answer for buts about it. These are not large cap names, baby. These are not Mag 7 names, and it doesn't take a whole lot of money to push them around. So yeah, you're gonna have to be able to account for that. We're doing really well though here on Amazon. We're taking it out at 189. Really happy with this trade over here. Decent trade, not the best, but into that $0.0025, and we take it out at the whole dollar. AMDANGZN strong on the day. However, X post facto analysis says we're still putting in lower highs and lower lows off that top. So we couldn't take out 190. On the day, and then we had a bit of a lower high there at 189 2/3, and if we hold up here at 189, that'll be another said lower high. So we'll pack our patience to see what other stuff we can do here on the Zon. Back to TWG as it's still holding up at the $0.00, but I am concerned about this trade. Just based on the fact that we've got a lot of weakness now. We were just yapping about how these are momentum stocks. Well, it feels like the momentum might be headed the other way. We'll pack our patience though. I did like the fact that this candle over here right at 1130 did bottoming tail, albeit very small, into that 20 exponential and also shadowing, wow, 1135, I wonder what they're doing. Also shadowing this price action area over here, this price action crest that we talked about. So I don't want to take it out too quickly. I don't want to start reading this one's obituary a little bit too prematurely, but if we hold up here, I'll be pleased as punch, but I'm a little concerned with my profit target. I feel it's a little lofty, hanging out at 88s, but I'm 0-2 on it. So for small paper cuts, mind you. So we're going to pack our patience to see if we can make our money back on this bad boy over here. APPS continues to go, ladies and gents. And this is a beautiful look here with the 10 exponential being that guide for the price action. Nary a breach. And when you did get a breach, look where it breached off, VWAP. Look, it's not giving you a lot notional. We're not talking about big boy moves. We have a 295 LOD and a 345 HOD. Do the math. That ain't big, but if you size into it, why not? So we'll pack our patience with this bad boy over here. All right, TWG, I see you, boy. Give me my money. Give me my damn money, boy. All right, so we're going to go up here. We're going to take our money. Sorry, it's Friday. I'm having a good time. All right, I love trading these small cap gappers. Let's go. We're long 33s. We just went our beak at 60. Now I'm waiting at 88s. Let's go. There's a seller at 60 over here. You can tell that. Not enough wattage to prevent the price action from ascending. And you can see all the prints coming in south to 60. Just look at that. All half prints, or sorry, mid prints is what I meant to say there. So 60, an elusive target. Good, I got some out there. Let's see if we can weasel up into 88s. Here comes 60 again. Can we take them out? Not too much size in terms of like what's posted on the actual gateways. But, you know, here we go. We took them out. Let's go now. Let's go, boy. Come on, come on, come on. I don't even know. I'm talking like it's a horse, and I feel like, I don't know. Yeah, I know. Darren's like, what's going on over there? It's Friday, man. I don't really care at all. I'm having a good time. Let's see what we can get here. We breached 60, which is good, but we're still south of that $0.75 area. So I'm going to pack my patience, see if we can weasel up into 88s. I'd rather just get stopped out rather than taking it out early, quite frankly. So it looks like it was a good exit there on the Zon as it dipped back into that $0.0075 for now. Underlying that for now. We held up VWAP, so that could be an interesting trade later into the day. The fact that it is continuing to hover at the volume weighted average price. James Choi. Oh, wow, that was really loud, Fabian. Wow. Ron says, Sharif, look at HIMS. Absolutely. What are they selling now? Let me guess. You know what I'm talking about. All right, here we go. What's going on with HIMS and her stock today? In today's video, I will be... Oh, I don't care about your video, bro. What are you talking about over here? I don't really see a catalyst on it. Oh, here it is. Canaccord Genuity maintains HIMS and hers with a coverage of buy and a price target of $24. Okay, well, that's a nice little premium from where we're trading at right now because we're in the mid-teens. Hell of a V-shaped red to green recovery over there on HIMS. This is going on the side chart. So thank you for that, Ron. HMS, HIMS, making it an appearance here on said side chart, and it will replace WW, which was the big boy yesterday, one of the big boys yesterday. So we're gonna go ahead and put HIMS there, and we're gonna keep an eye on that. So it's HIMS and hers, huh? And they chose HIMS as a ticker. Does that offend some people?
Yeah, that's sexist.
What'd you say, Adara? Okay, so Adara, the human algo just let me know that it was HIMS before they added hers. So nobody should feel offended.
All right, we'll give it a pass today.
I'm having a good time. What are you up to over there?
For sure. So I was looking at the QQQs. I'm struggling a little bit with this level here. So this 493.42 is a level that kind of looks like an area of rejection. I got in at the 18s, 493.18, and so it rejected off of that level. I was gonna scalp it, to be honest. It went up a little bit. It was like at 24s, and I was gonna take profits as well, but I'm like, I wanna see it, blast off a little bit. But I think I was getting a little bit too greedy. Didn't really follow my scalping rules, because typically when it's in the money like that, I typically like to take my profits. But I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to put my my stop loss at 492.90, and if we get there, then I don't think that I'm too convicted in this trade as of right now. I think I may get back in, but I'm just going to put that in there quickly. So 492.90 to 492.85. And yeah, I'm just going to put that in there just because I didn't like the look of how that was looking there. So another thing that I am looking at here is SoFi. So SoFi here, oh my gosh. So it is above this day's high here at $8.92, and we are going to ATR.
We're going to take a look here at some earnings names for our 11:40 earnings segment. If these are any tickers are on your mind and you want to vote for them to be covered on the afternoon show at 2 p.m. with Neil and Obi, all you have to do is go in the chat and vote, !join, space, $, and the ticker of choice. There's no earnings on watch for tonight or for Monday morning, so we're going to take a look at 3 earnings names from today. First off, when you might have forgotten about here, Fastenal, we just put in a bit of a bearish engulfing candle here on the 3-minute, but still near day's highs here around 76. They did report narrow beats for both earnings per share and sales. So they beat GAAP earnings per share here by a cent, 52 cents versus estimates of 51 cents. Sales, $1.91 billion versus $1.908 billion expected. So narrow beats here, but a beat nonetheless, up 8% for FAST. Now we have the banks. JP Morgan making a new day's high here. JPM up more than 5%. They beat here for both their adjusted, the GAAP earnings per share here and for net revenue, so above expectations across the board. Also, CEO Jamie Dimon saying that their balance sheet is extraordinarily strong. Wells Fargo doing quite well here too. WFC up about 5 2/3%. Though their report is actually a bit more mixed than JP Morgan because they missed here on sales. They also had an 11% year-over-year decrease here when it came to net interest income. However, their banking fees did quite well, so WFC also near day's high. Let's see how this one pans out. And again, if there's any tickers you're looking at, please get in the chat and vote, !join, space, $, and your ticker of choice.
Thank you very much for that, Adara. As I continue to watch the price action on TWG, I'm starting to become more convinced that there's a seller at $0.0025. We are putting in those higher lows. So off that 620 or 633, there it is. Let's go $0.75 seller at 75. Let's see if we can take him out. Big boy seller at 75. 2 rejections now. 2 ascensions into the 3/4 and 2 rejections. So let's see if we can continue to move up. Look, we took out that 2/3 of a seller. Why can't we take out the 3/4? Depending obviously on how big boy the size is. I'm waiting at 88s. I'm long 33s. I'm packing my patience. If I don't get it, I don't get it, and I'll just get stopped out. It's really that simple. So we're going to continue to watch TWG as it finds its footing a little bit off that. Where did it find its footing? Off the 20 exponential or that price action crest that we put in at 615 earlier there. So good look for TWG. Big spile. We should see the gate we working on now. Oh, really? Man, do you know Big Spile is like an iron artisan, man? He can artisan up a storm.
What does that mean?
So he makes metal fencing.
Oh.
What's it called? Rails, like metal rails,
okay.
Staircases. He does it all.
That's
right?
awesome. How do you know this?
Well, because we're on the gram.
Oh, okay,
right?
gotcha.
I follow him on the gram. He sends me pictures of his work. The dude's talented, man.
Big Spile, shout out to you.
Yeah,
He's putting in that work.
He is. He's always putting in work. Blacksmith, yeah, sure, you can call it that. What do you call yourself, Big Spile? Are you? Do you term yourself an artisan, like I called you, or are you more like the Chilean Nightmares description? A blacksmith, let me know. I'd love to know. Nick Dub, can you look at coin? Absolutely. Pretty Panda. TWG was making dollar moves in the first 15 minutes. I have no idea why it didn't halt. Didn't dare touching that after. Yeah, look, man, I'm already profitable on it. So we went 0 for 2, but for tiny losses, this is obviously a bigger win. I had to let it run a little bit. John, tuning in late, you watching the cybersecurity ETFs just an absolute blast. Brother, don't bring it to my attention. You know that PanW is my second largest holding. I don't want to talk about it. It's up big, and I don't like to mention when I'm up on stuff. So let's just leave that. What's up, Ob? What do you want? All right. AMD's ripping. Rohit Sharma. So first, we got to go back and look at coin for Nick Dub. Oh, So it looks like TWG is coming into my entry over here. I'm going to pack my patience quickly on this one. If it breaches the fifth of a dollar where I have my out, I'm gonzino. Let's see if it wants to find its footing right at the same level. This is the exact same level it found its footing on last time. However, now we have lower highs. Here we go. It looked like it wanted to breach. So maybe Pretty Panda was onto something. I'll look at coin in a hot second. I just want to manage this trade in case it blows through my stop. I also want to see what it does here. Is it a double bottom off the 20 exponential and that 615 shelf? Look at this, guys. I mean, this is not by accident that it does this twice. We hold up here and then we hold up here twice. Yeah, no, not my books. So let's look at coin now. All right, here we go. Coinbase, MSTR very strong as well. You know, I took that short. Coin is a rocket. Coin is looking real good today, my man. Oh, just a light 7 and, 0.12%. Very good day for Coinbase today. Bitcoin is up 4%, reclaiming $60,000, $62,061 right now. But who am I talking to? We got the crypto queen right next to me over here. So keep an eye on that. She's going to be dropping hot lines. Her and I were talking off camera about some of these altcoins, meme coins. We'll get into that in the slower time of day, but she had some very interesting insight into that, and I definitely want everyone to hear it because it was novel news to me too, how she explained it. So Coinbase looks fantastic. That was Pretty Panda. Nick Dub. What I do is I try to get it off a moving average. It's obviously trending on the day, very good trend. However, I don't like punching it off highs in random areas. It's just not the way I like to do business. Look, I mean, if you don't really want to wait for a heavier retracement, there was a whole lot of chop and churn at around 175. We've already gotten to 176.22. That is the high of the day. 175 is a little bit higher than the 10 exponential. So maybe a retracement near there. I haven't been watching it all day. I'd have to give it some more, I'd have to observe it a little bit more, but it looks awfully good. Something off a moving average to me would probably make a whole lot of sense, but let me know how that all goes down. D-Loaf, don't tiptoe around and trade this compression pattern on the futures. Big Spile was telling me something right now about a bull flag or a bear flag. I don't know. Let me go back and see what he said there. 1 second, because he was telling me, is that a flag on the SPY 15-minute? Let's go and have a look. On the SPY, and let's flip to the 15-minute to see what Big Spile's talking about. Yeah, man, it is. Look at that. I mean, like, what is this? I mean, is that not a bull flag there? It's obviously, you can always see what you want, Taya. There's no question about that. But interesting look here with the SPY. What do you see?
On the SPY, yeah, I definitely could see that as well. I want to see how it. Predictable answer, but I really want to see what it does at VWAP. It looks like it's holding here. It has this range, 578.70s to around 579.75, the small range here, 1048 to 1148, so within the hour. I want to see if it can get above this 580s, to be honest. But I do want to see, I'd rather a dip buy around 578.63. Want to see if it could retrace a little bit from there before I get in, just because I feel like it could reject a little bit and then come down, hopefully just pop off from VWAP. Don't really want to get in necessarily here because I feel like it can just chop and churn, but looking pretty bullish as well. Hasn't broke VWAP like at all. Like, in the morning, but I don't really count that. I feel like from here, it just stayed above VWAP, very consistent in staying above VWAP, and so I definitely want to see a continuation of that throughout the day. So that's what my look on SPY, and looks really good as of right now, too. One thing I got out, I'm going to switch over to my QQQs trade, got out, oh, it triggered, I guess I had an order in that I did not cancel, was in the money, out of the money, unfortunately, because of that. But I got in at 493.13, got out at 493.30. So that was a good look. Unfortunately, I had an order that was sitting that I guess I did not cancel. That is very sad. Took my profits away from me. But at least I had the good look, in the first, what I intended to do, I did. And so that's what I really like. So another thing that I'm looking at is this Uber. Uber is looking really nice. It's making that shelf above the day's high. Really like this consolidation here. A pivotal point, though, I do think is that day's high and this bounce here at 84.60. Definitely want to make sure that it's staying above that in order for the continuation of the trade. If it breaks that around that level, move that here. Yeah, so if it breaks this level, I'd kind of be a little bit concerned just because it's broke this kind of pivotal level at 84.92, but want to see a little bit of a dip by there. 84.65 looking really nice as well. And then someone was saying AMD. AMD was blasting off. I think it was Obi, so shout out to him. That looks really good as well. Haven't looked at AMD in a while. Want to see a little bit of a pullback here around this 166.33. What I like about this level is that it got to like this high around 11.03, and then this distinct bounce here right at that 166.38 level as well. So it was this high, this local high, and then it bounced off of that level. So the confluence between these two, very interesting level for me as well. Definitely would be risking around that level here, maybe around 166.18, just to give a little bit of room. But if it does break that level, I won't like it as much in the short term, but I want to see it hold that level. That looks really good as well. And then going to Tesla, because this is pretty interesting. Broke through VWAP, looking like, a short, as I was saying earlier today. One thing that I do like for more like confirmation for this short is the fact that it had this consolidation and then went above VWAP, rejected off this 233.40, came down. Now we're seeing this kind of downtrend on the 1 minute. If we look on the 15-minute, we could see, more of a clear trend there. Rejects off of that 222.50, comes down, tries to retrace back up, 221.18, comes down. Have a little bit of a rejection here at 218.96, called 219. But every time it comes up to this trend lines level, it just beats back down. And so that is something that I would be concerned about with Tesla. So what are you guys seeing in the chat? Uber flying, someone said that. I think we covered that just now. Yes, Uber is still flying. And what are you looking at, Sharif?
I'm looking at Verb here. Thank you to Bhavin Patel for letting me know about VRB. I did have it as on the scanner, but there's just so much to look at. So sometimes you don't see it. It's zigging and zagging. It's a multiple halter. Not multiple, sorry, that's incorrect. It halted, it looked like once there. I'm unsure. I'd have to look at the chart a little bit better. It's not showing me that clearly. So yeah, topping tail into 903 HOD, zigging and zagging right now. The details on Verb are $6 million market cap, 1.5 million shares traded on the day. And here it is. Verb Technology shares are trading higher. The company's CEO in an October 10th shareholder letter highlighted its cash balance and implied the stock is undervalued. And so that's all it takes, baby. These small cap gappers, they don't need much of a fire to let you know what. So we're gonna keep an eye on this one. It's got to settle down here. This is not my style of trade when it's this kind of price action. I don't mind trading the more volatile names, but they got to set up so I can gauge price action, support, and resistance. Right now, we've got this thing rocketing up and we're blown through levels. So I don't mind waiting for it to settle down before I make a decision, but 903 HOD and the halt level prior, just so you guys know, because sometimes we base these price action supports and resistance off halt levels. 6 1/3 was where we halted. I believe we opened up after that halt at around 7 1/3. So you can see quite a bit of buyer exuberance off that halt. It gapped up quite aggressively. This is what I'm looking at right there. Look at that gap up from 669 or whatever the hell it closed out at, and then boom, right into 7 1/3. Big boy gap through the whole dollar level. Topping tail, or kind of not topping tail, but kind of a bearish doji, if I could say so, at around 8.5. It hasn't closed yet. This is the 5-minute chart on VERB. Good luck, though. No question about it. Come on, TWG, you punk. Let's go. Take out that 6 1/3. We're still putting in lower highs on this, but what kept me in this trade, sorry to jump from one stock to the other, but I got to manage my positions. What kept me in this trade was the umpteen amount of times we kept bouncing and finding support at 6 1/5. Because I was not pleased with the succession of lower highs on this name, and I'm still not pleased with it because we're still unable to make another higher high. Where's that higher high got to come in? above that $0.75, and we're still not doing it, and we just breached. I knew it. I knew that we were going to give up that right there. Wow, that was a lot of tape teleportation, but watch this. Watch this bump right back up now into 6.5. Watch the 6 breach. Here we go. Let's see if we can get a little bit of a boom on it already. Let's see if we can get a little bit of a bump, and there it is. It's just true to form. These small cap gappers are jokes, bro. All right, let's see if we can bump up a little bit more over here. Let's see if we can get into that $0.33. I'll flatten out at a third. If it breaches 6, which is only 9 pennies of risk, I'll get out, but I feel like we probably bump up at least to reclaim that 20 exponential. I love these small cap gappers. They always have a way of bamboozling you and then giving you right what you wanted at second time around. That's just the nature of the beast of these bad boys. So let's see if we can move up a little bit more here. A bit of a seller at the $0.05, a bit higher than the $0.05 right now on TWG. Zigging and zagging. Actually, this is an interesting area. Now, do we reject the 5th? I submit we do. And I'm getting out here. Why? Because this was the area we kept finding support. Now we're using it as resistance. I want no smoke. I'm going to take that 15 pennies and get the hell out of Dodge with this one. If it wants to set up off VWAP, which is at 5.5, I'm all eyes and ears. But right now, we just flipped between resistance and support using 6 1/5 right now as resistance. We kept using it as support. So this is an algo in play. I got out of there. Nice, decent trade. I'm positive on it. We'll continue to see if we can eke out some more on this. I'm going to be waiting at around 5.5. That's where the volume weighted average price is. So good look right now for TWG. Let's move back to VERB. Still holding 8. Nice dip trade off 8 there. And funny enough, $8 was the volume weighted average price. I wasn't ready to take anything off 8, so I'm not going to pretend like I was, but that's a nice inverse, or sorry, that's not an inverse. That's a hammer candle right there, albeit a red hammer candle that did find its footing right around 8 or volume weighted average price, which is like a few pennies below it. 903 HOD. It hasn't had enough trading right now after the breakout for me to feel comfortable gauging levels. So I'm going to pack my patience with this one, knowing that it's in play. For whatever reason, the market is impressed by what the CEO had to say yesterday with respect to, the company being undervalued and whatever. So good look. And yeah, what are you looking at?
For sure. So I am looking at the QQQs again. I jumped in back on that train because I felt like the move was not done. So I'm just going to pull this up here. QQQs. I really like the fact, so what I didn't like was the fact that it was rejecting off of this level. It was dancing around it a little bit. And typically I like to get out before, like I wanted to make a distinct move before I get back in. So I got out around 30s, didn't like the rejection off of there because I thought it may slam down, but it broke through this, this trend here around 493.42, and then we have this candle that's distinctly above this level. So I really like that. What I'm really looking at is just the hold of this 493.26 level, really liking that for the long. I did get in a little bit for a scalp. I got in at 493.55, got out around 493.67, so a little bit of a scalp. I could have held it for longer because I definitely think that it could, reach the highs of the day, but I'm just more of a scalper. That's just what I feel comfortable with, so that's just what I'm going to continue to do. And so I made, a little bit of my money back that I had lost on the position that I had just sitting on the order book, and I didn't realize that it was there. So nice look on that. Really like that. QQQs, TQQs looking really nice for the long trade as of right now. And then I saw someone saying SoFi at 9 wall. Let's go back to SoFi.
Wow.
Yeah, SoFi is 9 wall. I don't necessarily know what they mean by that. Maybe like a rejection level in terms of that.
Probably.
Yeah, definitely could see that as well. I would definitely look out for that $9 level. If you see, or if you're seeing on the tape, if you have access to the tape and you're seeing like a lot of prints, $8.99 without printing that 9 level, definitely, be a little bit wary of that 9 level. You want to see a prints above 9, 901, 902. But if we are just seeing rejections at that level, just be careful because it can be a rejection from there. And then Uber to $86. Let's go back to Uber. Yeah, Uber is strong. My goodness. This is definitely not letting up. It bounced off of that 84.67 and it's going to the upside. Definitely, like, do you have any looks on like where this may go? Like in the price discovery phase, like what do you usually do in order to kind of see where it may stop?
On intraday?
Yeah.
Good question. I do daily charting. Well, first we'll start with the 4. See,
Okay.
well, this is a blue sky setup, though, no?
Yeah, it is.
So then there's nothing. We can use fibs.
Okay.
Right, fib projections.
Yeah.
To basically gauge where the price may go using Fibonacci's. I know you guys like that. But no, seriously though, if it's a blue sky setup, I'm using fibs, the fib extensions to try to engage where. But I would do that not for intraday though. I personally wouldn't. I would do it for a swing trade or for a long term. You know.
Okay.
Well, not
fair.
even long term, more for swing. To be quite honest with you.
That makes sense.
If
Yeah.
it's a blue sky setup, it's a blue sky setup.
Yeah.
I mean, what can you be? Maybe
Can't stop the
psychological
train.
sport, $90, $100, right? Like, what is it supposed to be?
Fair,
right?
fair. I think that is very fair. That $90 level definitely is probably a place where people are looking at that $100 psychological level. That definitely makes a lot of sense. Someone's saying in the chat, pretty panda, kind of funny. Sharif knows I'm a TLRY fanboy. However, it's kind of breaking out at the moment. Good volume in the prior 15 minutes. You guys have like...
No, he was hilarious. I saw his earlier comment. He's like, I was listening to the drunk CEO. Oh. It was hilarious because they're selling alcohol now. That's where they're making money. They're not even making money off weed.
Oh,
It's funny.
interesting. What? I didn't know that was a thing that you could do that.
We do have Adara though
Going
at the
to
big
Adara.
desk. And then after that, we're going to have Neil's lesson of the day. So hang out tight.
Yes.
Been a pretty exciting Friday here for the market, to say the least. New highs for the S&P 500. So what a way to end a week, especially in a month that, much like September, generally associated with a bit more negativity in the market. We had a bit of chop and churn this morning, that's for sure, with PPI, higher than expected year-over-year print and core year-over-year print, the lower than expected PPI on a month-over-month basis. It actually came in flat, so no change on a month-over-month basis. Core coming in up 0.2% on a month-over-month basis there, in line with forecasts. So it was mostly just the year-over-year prints a bit above expectations there. So much to look at here in this market. We did have Fed speakers as well. From what I'm seeing, all the speakers that were supposed to speak have spoken. But there's a new entrant on this calendar. It's going to be Fed's Bowman, who, again, the only member to dissent from the 50 basis point decision. Fed's Bowman coming onto the mic at 1:10 p.m. So stay tuned for that. Here's the stocks on watch. Eli Lilly making a move to the upside during the midday. LLY here up about 1.5% and hanging out around this 924 area as of right now. Nikkei reporting that Eli Lilly CEO David Ricks saying that its obesity drug is on track to be approved in Japan by next year. So good look here for LLY. Also, we have Chinese stocks on watch. I have Alibaba up here, but a lot of these stocks have been on the move, as we know, this whole week. We have a meeting from the Ministry of Finance in China tomorrow where they are likely to be discussing the stimulus. And we also have comments today from U.S. Treasury's Jay Shambaugh, who works as an undersecretary for the Treasury, saying that he's, quote, been encouraged by China's statements about the domestic stimulus plans. So we'll have to see how the stimulus goes. Keep an eye on these Chinese stocks, Eli Lilly, and so many other tickers. Make sure to vote for your ticker of choice, !join, space, $, and that ticker. But for now, we're going to learn about some other lessons here with Neil and his lesson of the day.
Thank you, Adara. Lesson of the day here. Breakouts are good, but continuations can be better. And oftentimes, one of the easiest trades or setups to look for is a simple breakout play. You know, stock X goes through $10, stock Y goes through $100. Today, NVIDIA through 135. You know, you can just have a round number and it's a trending stock and you like that breakout. All the more simple when you have a resistance level, or I guess support if you're taking a breakdown, that just lines up. But I'm going to show a couple of examples of, not just because NVIDIA didn't go that far, it only went to 135.78 after that 135 break. Everybody that took it won. But why the continuation trade sometimes is just as good of a setup, but can give you a little bit more explosion. And on top of it, sometimes you can do both. So what does the breakout look like? I think it's pretty obvious here, but I'm going to show you anyways. This is NVIDIA. Why did everyone like 135? Pretty simple. I mean, NVIDIA, if you go out to a daily chart, we'll zoom it in here for you so you'll be able to see. Go to a daily chart. There was already some overhead resistance out there. And then we had a bit of a double top forming. You failed 135 on Wednesday. You got right to 135 yesterday. And it's not just that it tagged it several times and pulled back. It's that there was a monster size on the offer. So everyone saw that a few million shares on the offer there and saw it reverse. You hold a higher low, so you got higher lows into a flat top breakout. It's as clear as day. So you know you like that level. It makes it pretty easy to look for continuations. It had a couple of bounces, again up to 135 after, and I'm looking at a 15-minute chart on purpose here. But notice how nasty and dirty it gets for any continuation. Of course, we're going to usually like that 135 on the way back, and it gives you another push to the upside. But when you're looking for that continuation play, just because it was an obvious breakout doesn't mean it's a good continuation. NVIDIA never truly sets up a continuation trade. Like, where in here does it look like a bullish play in the morning? Outside of the breakout. Yeah, sure, this is 135 and it bounces a bit, but you have a topping tail candle. You have what looks like a reversal candle, completely followed by another one that looks like another reversal in the other direction. That's just a choppy mess. It's now starting to form a better looking long, but all it was a simple breakout where that level had no significance. So if you're trying to find things that look even better on a continuation play, I'll give you AMD here, and there's one breakout which stands out in the continuation, golden as well, and I'll get to that one last because it's a doozy. AMD was weak yesterday. They had their event. It was a complete gong show in terms of selling off. Didn't really matter what they were saying. It just sold, sold, sold. There was one green candle in the early afternoon that stalled at 166. Pre-market high 166. So like NVIDIA, it set up an obvious breakout trade. Was the breakout good? Sure. You made money if you took it. I had it. The scalp trade worked. Scalped out most of it. Got back out under break even. But the continuation trade actually sets up pretty well on this 15-minute. You see that it rinses some 15. Anyone that tried to hold this for more than the scalp trade, they're out of the money. Maybe they're getting stopped out at 165. But then look at it. It bounces with another higher low at 165 bucks, does this nice little compression candle, and when it retakes out the high, it just forms all kinds of strength. So the continuation here, because you didn't have much setting up on AMD on that breakout, gave you a little bit, but such a good, nice, tight continuation trade where you have the pullback. Usually you're rinsing people on a false break. Instead, it's holding tightly onto the higher low and then breaking out this prior candle in here. You get the 65, 65, and you're off to the races. In this particular case, there's nothing wrong with the breakout. I'm not saying don't take that trade. But when it doesn't work or doesn't give you as much as you want, sometimes looking for that nice tighter entry. It didn't really happen on NVIDIA. I took 135 mounts on NVIDIA and scalped it a couple times because I liked the level. But really, the false break on AMD actually sets you up with an even better long after the fact, where you can still have tight risk and then work a big trade. One even better one for you is going to be MSTR. And the best thing about MSTR is you don't have to worry about a false breakout. So you have resistance at 189, pre-market resistance. There's a theme. All three of these have exactly the same setup, where you have a previous day resistance level, and then the pre-market high, same level, and then just break it out. Right? So it's the same setup for the breakout trade. The continuation on MSTR, what makes it so good is it essentially sets up, well, if this high breaking out's good, then the next high, consolidation, even better. So what does it do? It pulls right back into the prior high, consolidates, and breaks out a new top. That's the gold standard. Because ideally, you don't have to worry about the AMD where you're still playing the trend to the upside, but you're actually getting long underneath the original breakout price. So therefore, you could still be failing that 166 on AMD. In this case, your continuation is golden because you're going higher lows the whole way. And on top of that, when a name is highly shorted, that's what you want. If it's a squeeze type name like an MSTR or like a DJT, or if GameStop ever does something again, ideally you don't want the continuation to be underneath the original breakout because it's still failing the break and there's a lot of people still holding the original trade. I think in this case, you want some new shorts to be in here off of this level, and this makes it such a better continuation play. But it's setting up exactly the same way. It's not complicated here, and this is what I love about it, and why I'm not just going to show you the trades we had that worked. I could pull up Uber that was a great long today, but what are we supposed to learn from it? Work the plan. So what? What should we have been in that could have been better, and what can we learn from it? MSTR, technically, just because you missed the 189, which I did miss, doesn't mean you get away from the stock. It sets up the exact same thing, breakout here after holding the next consolidation level. If it loses 194.5, fair enough. You're not looking at that trade. But the second it sets this up on the 15-minute, that is a clean look to break out this top. You get another leg to the upside. Everybody that trades momentum is going to look at these key breakout setups. There's almost no chance you weren't paying attention to NVIDIA 135 today if you're trading the chips. AMD 166, MSTR 189, whatever it might be. But it's not over just because the first move happens. Oftentimes, your number one idea for the first breakout is not as good as the continuation play. And oftentimes the idea that you weren't looking at and missed a gigantic move is even bigger the second time through. That's why you're constantly hunting for setups and hunting for trade ideas. And nothing is better, I think, than just looking for continuation on an already strong move. That's where you want to be. You don't necessarily always want to be picking these bottoms or trying to mean revert. I love them as well. But if you can just find a simple continuation play off a big breakout, just make it easy. Keep it simple, stupid. That's your lesson of the day. Continuation breakouts, they can be the gold standard because you're already looking at the stock in the first place. So you might as well be focused on that next move. There's your lesson of the day, everybody, and good luck this afternoon. It was Super Chat? Hold on a second. Where is it? Oh, there it is. Let me get the Super Chat. Rohit, how do you determine the duration of breakouts, whether they will continue for a few days or weeks since the VWAP adjusts with trends? So great question. I don't use VWAP on higher time frames. You don't see it on my 15-minute chart. You don't see it on my daily chart. If I'm looking for a continuation on a higher time frame, and you know what, let's actually just go to, I'll use Snowflake. And I'm going to use Snowflake here because, quite frankly, I bought this yesterday in my PA, right? So I know what I was looking for with it, and it's easy for me to pivot to this. So Snowflake, for a day trade, maybe you'd have the day trade in here, let's just say. For myself, I was looking for a swing where it closed above the 50-period moving average, so I didn't get into it. And I should have got into it at the open on this day. Okay, I made a mistake, so I got in half at 122.5 here. So in terms of determining how far it's going to go, there's only a couple of ways I look at it. And it's very simple. I don't really use things like Fibonacci's or whatever metric you want for how big ATR, a lot of people are going to use something like that. I look at prior resistance, like very big resistance levels. So that sets up this 132. That puts that as a target. And I look at big resistance in here. We chopped up and then resisted in the 140 to 141 range. Those put out natural targets for me. And the only other thing I will look at is, I think I can use this tool here. Like if you look at the consolidation bottom, which is where your first stage breakout happens. Oh, that's Fibonacci. I don't want that. I want the measuring tool. The measuring tool in here, if I just simply look at that, like that's going to tell you, and of course it's not even, whatever, I'm just going to eyeball it for you because now it does this over here instead of up there. So you've got 117 to about 107. So call it a $10 range. So then that sets up for myself either 117, resistance at 27, if I was taking this breakout, which is not what I did. I like it to here, I like it to there. But if I was taking the break off of this, I'd simply look at the range it's breaking away from. That was a $10 move. Well, I want to look at the 127 area for a take profit. Oddly enough, what's the high of the day today? On Snowflake. Double top at 127. Did I know that before I did this? Nope. No clue. Just happened to be true. And sometimes it's just that simple. The prior range that it's breaking out from ends up being a resistance when it makes that break. As to why that's true, I could care less, but that is something that I'll always look for. Whether it's, if there's no key resistance level for the first stage to get to, then I'm looking at what is the consolidation that you're breaking out of on the higher time frame, and that's where my first out is going to be. In this case, I'm looking for something a little bit more personally on Snowflake because I didn't really get this trade. And here I was waiting for the close above. I hope that answers your question. Every trade is going to be different, and you want to have that plan of action going into it. Right? Like if you're taking the first stage breakout, have an idea before you get in where you want to get out, where you think you can go to, what your targets are. Right? Like trading is just a series of if-then statements, and you put them together to formulate a trade. Everything else is just kind of guessing or gambling, in my opinion. So make sure you have that plan of action before. I'm telling you what I'm doing right now in Snowflake, and had I gotten the early breakout entry, what I would be doing. And it just so happens that that 27 would have been the first out today had it been that breakout off of the 117. So Rohit, great question. I hope that answers it well. Good luck, everybody.
Thank you very much, Neil. You know what I'm going to say. Formative, eloquent, and just all around awesome as always. Neil Roberts, every day around that noon hour, he's dropping that lesson of the day. You thought I was going to say something else, didn't you? So shout out to Neil. Thank you again for that. How's it going, Steph?
Yes, so I took a QQQ's trade, not working out, jumped in around 493.80s. It rejected. It's around 493.40 as of right now. I think that if it breaches 493, I think I'm going to get out of this trade and then reassess as of right now. I have my stop here at 492.98, and so hopefully, you know, it doesn't stop me out from there. But looking a little bit, you know, like there's going to be a little bit of a retracement on the triple Qs or the triple Qs. And so, yeah, not really liking the look of that, to be honest. I thought that there would have been a breakout and then a retest of the day's high, but not looking like I'm going to see that as of right now. What else are you guys looking at here? Let's see. Snow, Meta. Do you think Meta will raise in earnings in 2 weeks? Do you have any outlook on that?
Meta?
Yeah, Meta.
Meta's a dang rocket.
It is always a rocket.
Look, I don't know what to say about this other than new Zuck, curly-haired, gold chain, bigger shoulder Zuck. That's the Zuck I like. No, I'm kidding, of course, but this company is really trying to become a device company, a hardware company. Here's the deal. So I was watching an interview with Mark Zuckerberg. Obviously, I forget who was interviewing him, but what the point he was trying to drive home was he was not master of his own domain. Apple and Google would basically tell him what he could and couldn't do with Facebook, with Meta, with WhatsApp, with Instagram, with WhatsApp, etc. So he'd come up with an idea, be like, I want to do this and this and that. And they'd be like, you can do this. You can't do that. So he didn't like that. So he wants to be able to control all the different parts of the, let's call it the stack, right? From the hardware to the software, everything. And so I think that's what he's genuinely trying to be. How well they execute, an entirely different story. But I like the methodology. I like how he's going out and doing it. He's got a monster user base. What is it? 3 billion monthly active users, something ridiculous
insane.
like that, right? I like what he's doing. The valuation obviously has really changed in the last 2 years.
Yeah,
We're talking about this being $88.
Yeah,
It's knocked on the door of 600 the other day.
Ooh-wee.
So, yeah. Personally, I like the company. I don't have any investment in it at the moment. Why? I don't know. I think I just have enough Mag 7s. Okay. I'm in 3, and I don't want to be in a 4th.
Okay.
So
what are the 3? I know Apple.
Yeah, Apple. Apple's the biggest one. I have some NVIDIA pre-split.
Okay.
And I have some Tesla.
Okay,
That's
makes
it.
sense.
Yeah. So I don't really want to be in anymore, but I think he is. Again, remember that conversation you and I have? Are you about the manager or are you about the founder? Like, are you that Timmy C style, the guy who's not the founder, who comes in, manages the company, makes all the balance sheet? Or are you about the founder, that visionary, that creator?
Yeah, I'm definitely for the innovation, for sure. The innovation needs to be leading. I don't know. Like, we had this conversation about Apple, and I feel like the company needs to be driven by innovation. That's all I have to say.
Agree. I agree. I think Apple, you know, they've got a little bit of a niche, and here's why I say they don't need to be number one. They seem to know how to perfect everything, but never be first to market.
Yeah.
If you want to make that your niche, all right, have at it. So you're gonna let everybody innovate, and you're gonna steal their thunder. You know what I mean? I don't know.
That's their thing,
right? So we'll see. We'll see what we get.
It's the interface, though. We've said this before. The interface, it just gets everyone every single time buying that same phone every single year. They're counting.
There you go. And I agree 100% with you guys. Is that a Seinfeld reference? I don't know which part, JF. I kind of just scanned over everything there. I didn't even notice. Pretty Panda wants to know why MLGO is doing it. I saw somebody else talking about MLGO during the break. Let's have a look at it now. It is sub $1, so it didn't quite make its way onto my chart. There it is, guys. It came in. Look, I was watching it when it was coming into these highs over here. This 37.5 penny high. We kind of double topped there in the pre. We just took it out. We're still looking though at that 43.5 pennies, 43 pennies. That's a top from yesterday, but this has been going. We're still inside day today, technically, because we're ensconced with yesterday's price action from the top side and the low side. But I want you guys to take a gander at the 4 hour on this. Yeah, that's real. That's ugly. I hope nobody's holding that. In any event, what you can tell by looking at this chart is it's a former runner, and a daily chart will show you that as well. It is a former runner. It can run up a storm. We just got to catch it on the right occasion. Fabian's killing it with those animations there. So master of his domain, yes, JF Trader. I did get it from there. I just didn't make the connection. I wouldn't have said it otherwise. Yeah. Are you master of your own domain? Again, I know I feel bad because
I don't know it.
But yeah. It's like, anyway, I'm not even going to get into that episode.
Okay.
It's beyond the scope of the show.
I'll have to just watch it on my own time.
Yeah, you will, because I can't talk about it here. Well, we can't, seriously. I'll get in trouble. Brendo's right there. So. In any event, I'm long here on HIMS. And I wet my beak there going into 30s. This one worked its way up into 35s. I don't really have a whole lot of expectations, but it's been a very strong name intraday. That is up 2.5%. Just wetting my beak here on some profits, about like 10, 15 pennies in the money on this name. I'm also interested, Satea, on Amazon, in Amazon. Reason is, look at all these holdups here. I'm going long here.
Okay,
all right,
do it.
There we go. We're going to go long here, and we're going to look to defend. Who's that?
Fabian.
Who's that back? Fabian. All right, so we're going to look to defend this area. Amazon's putting in lower highs. I get that, but it keeps bouncing off the volume-weighted average price, so I'll look to scalp it. Into the $0.50. If it breaks a $0.50, we'll just lose about 15 pennies or whatever it is there on AMZN. But it's putting in lower highs. I'm cognizant of that. But it seems to find its footing in every time around this area. And if that's the case, I'll just scalp it out. Pre-Panda, that's the game. All charts I'm watching looks like that on the 4 hour. Yeah, look, man. I mean, look, if that's the kind of game you like, these small cap gappers that mean revert, a lot of people make good money shorting these small cap gappers. You don't usually see me doing it, but that doesn't mean it can't be done. Trust me, it certainly can be done. These small cap gappers, yeah, there was a trader here. You sit in the corner, and that was his game. He would wait for these things to run up, whatever, 80, 90, 100%, get shorts, and then just take it right back down. He would go heavy too. Random oddities. And the splits were before those big moves, right? Which one are you talking about again? Let me know what you're talking about, Random, because my mind gets convoluted with everything we're talking about. All right, so we're in the zone. We're break even right now. I'm looking at, just playing the range on this. We'll see what we get with this one. Satea, what are you doing over there?
I'm looking at this Amazon, and for me, not to go against you, but it's looking like a short to me, to be honest.
Flat bottom breaky.
Yeah, like what I want to see is possibly a break of this 188.45. I definitely see what you're seeing in terms of the bounce, and I don't want it to like possibly liquidity grab from this area. But I think that if it can break through this 188.46, then I'm kind of looking for the short here. Why? Why, you may ask? Well, yes, we have a little bit of this downtrend here, but also too, what I'm seeing here and something that I've been working on is kind of like a range break. And so I look at like a range here. So there's a little bit of a range around 11 to now around 12.18. And so we have this range rejection here around 189, and then we're coming below VWAP here, and we're fighting. I really want to see what it does at this level, because I think this is very pivotal as to whether it continues as a long or breaks down for a short. But I do want to see what it does at this 188.44 level and see what we do from there. Not necessarily wanting to get in at this range, but very interesting to me. Tesla wants a little bounce. Let's look at Tesla. Let's look at this little Tesla. Yeah, Tesla looks like it's trying its hard. It's bouncing at this 218.22 around 1148, trying that little bounce. So let's see what it's doing on the book, because I feel like that may give us some indication as to what's going on here. So we're just gonna type in that Tesla. Okay, so what's interesting is this 50s level, 220 50s. I want to see, I'm seeing some rejection here. It comes up to 50s and then it's breaking a little bit down. I definitely want to see it printing 51, 52, 53, but I'm not really seeing that yet. Oh, break through that 54. Okay, now we're going. Now we are blasting off. Okay, I'll take it back a little bit, but we are fighting through this level. And so I want to see, you know, more volume, more energy, because the thing is, yes, more energy, because the thing
Tell
is,
him, Fabian.
we could just have this range, like we do have this wick here. This was around 948, yeah, 945, 948, and around this 220.90 level, 221. And so you want to make sure that we're not just, you know, within this range and staying within that range. We want a break of that range. And so I definitely think that's very pivotal as well. But we want to see that energy. We want to see that flow. We want to see that momentum. And I really want to see a hold of that 220.50. Like, I really want to see a hold of that, because I feel like if we kind of break down there, then it's not necessarily a pivotal level, but it's definitely a level that I'm going to be watching on the tape to see, are we seeing lots of orders? Are we seeing lots of size on that level? And so chopping, not necessarily interested in this, to be honest, until I really see a break around this 221.12, or more distinctly above this day's high at this 223.45. But we'll see what it does. We'll pack our patience. And got out of the QQQs trade. I didn't like the way it was moving around. Got out before it even hit my stop loss level. So my stop loss level was 492.98, around 97s as well. Didn't even wait for that, because I'm just seeing more of a breakdown here. And then I also saw that Adam DeLucy was saying to look at the SPY in unison with the QQQs, and I was seeing a breakdown on the SPY as well. And I'm like, okay, not looking too good on the market, and so took out some profits there. Might possibly see, you know, a retracement to VWAP. It's grinding a little bit down. I'm looking on the 1 minute. Let's look on the 5. Yeah, definitely grinding down there. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 bearish candles on the 5-minute chart. So definitely, it's really coming down now. And so, yeah, definitely think that we could retrace around that VWAP level, maybe around 492.50. What are you looking at? Sure.
I'm long on the softy here for a bit of a mean reversion back up. The $0.50, we kind of got into those lows there. Bit of a riskier trade here, trying to catch a falling knife. Looking to wet my beak. Where am I looking at? 65s. There seems to be a seller every time we get up into 60. There it is. We're at 65. It's not printing. I crossed it. There we go. Now we get it. All right, Dees, let's see if we can continue to pamp here. Where am I long? 54s. Okay, yeah, not the biggest trade. We'll look for something into 14s. A bit of a double bottom on MSFT. The low of the day, technically 413.25. We're at the $0.50 right now, so we haven't quite weaseled into the low of day. Amazon has a seller at 70, 188.70. I won't be convinced otherwise. That's 4 ascensions, 5 ascensions into that level on the 1. Here we go again. Watch this. Seller again at 70. Unable to take it. Oh, there we go. Come on, bro. Let's go. I'm waiting to wet my beak at 75. Seller at 75. Everywhere, bro, there's sellers. What is all this? All right, there we go. Now we get the print, baby. Okay, good. So we did well on both. Let's see if we can weasel up on both. We're trying to use VWAP as the floor for Amazon. I'm using that $0.50 generally, even though my stop is south of the $0.50 on Softy. It's a riskier trade on Softy. VWAP to me is a better level off which to base a trade than the low of the day double bottom, because it's there for a reason. So we scalped out on this one at we're at 65. So I'm gonna look. I'm not taking anything else out unless I either get stopped out or it prints something near the whole dollar, 414-ish, in and around there. So we're gonna pack our patience. Go Amazon, you punk. Let's go. We're gonna get something out here on the Zon at around mid to low 90s. Let's go hang out over here. I think that that's a respectable level to get it out because there does seem to be some price action support now, probably resistance at around 90s. I'm front running it a little bit. Microsoft moving up decent over here. We're knocking the door of 70. All right, nice. 20 pennies in the money here. Let's weasel up into 414-ish. We're going to hang out probably near the whole dollar. Come on, baby. Let's go. There's a seller at 80. We just took out the seller, haven't crossed on the bid. There it is. Let's get to 88s, baby. I'm waiting at 88s. Let's go. Let's go. All right, good day today. Having fun, jokes and stuff like that. And these trades are okay. Let's see. We're watching both the Zon and Microsoft, waiting for the prints on both, neither of which is forthcoming. Seller at 85 on Microsoft. That's a couple of times now we've stopped the price action ascension into that 85 penny area. Random areas, man, to have these sellers hang out, but that's the way it is. AMZN, I'm waiting on the other side of 90. That's good enough for me. We're taking it out there. Let's see what else is going on with Microsoft. I'm still in HIMS, by the way. Excuse me. I'm still in HIMS, by the way. We're almost at high day. We're doing real well on that. We're long 82. We just knocked on the 22, excuse me. We just knocked on the door of 40. So packing my patience with these trades. Amazon's done. We're waiting for Softy to either print or stop me out. It's having resistance right now at 80 pennies, and I'm waiting on the north side of that. So we're going to hang out over here on MSFT and see what is good. IK, coin, super strong. You're not the first person to say that, my man. It looks like crypto in general is very, very strong on the day. Even the deadweight Mara is up on the day as well. I don't mean to offend anybody by that. I got burned on it too, so you don't have to feel too bad. Yeah, that's the look on coin. That's a fantastic look on coin. It is at 178.50. This thing opened up today. The low of the day is 165.22, but guess what? The closing print yesterday, 164.27. Let's see if we can get $20 above that level. We've got small cap recap with Adara at the big desk. Give it to us, Adara.
What an ascension here on the 15-minute chart for the IWM. We have found a little bit of support above that 220 area after chopping and churning around that area about half an hour into the session around 10 a.m. Let's see if we can make a new high a day above that 220.70 level. Let's see what happens here with this Russell 2000. First two of these small cappers are actually ones we covered earlier today. So what I'm going to do is specifically take a look at the daily charts here, see if there's any levels. Top Wealth Group, which is about a 7% short float and a $2 million market cap, actually IPO'd here back in mid-April, and we have not really been at these highs since this time when we had that IPO. So let's see what we do here. Provide any support at that $5 level should we fall there. Right now, trading just below $6 and announcing that they've priced their 27 million share offering here. This is valued here at $10.8 million. So TWG, interesting level here on the daily chart. PACB, Pacific Biosciences, has fallen quite a bit from its highs. Bit of a base here at that 118 level. Currently trading just below $2 and a bit of potential resistance to be aware of around that $2 level. Again, right now we're just below 190. This company has a 19.9% short float and announced a collaboration agreement with this cancer center in Singapore. This small cap we actually haven't covered yet today, so we're going to take a look at the 3-minute chart as we usually do. Nice recovery for AEHR. This is Air Test Systems. They reported their earnings last night after the close for Q1 2025, beating estimates here for both earnings per share and sales, and reiterating their guidance. If there's these or any other tickers that you like, get in the chat and let us know. Exclamation point, join, space, $, and your ticker of choice.
Thank you very much, Adara. Always appreciate that. Guys, I got out of Microsoft because there's a seller at 85, and if that's going to be the setup, I don't really want to fight with the lows there. So if it wants to bounce back off the $0.50 and then make a new high, prove to me that that is the bottom and that buyers are going to step in to prevent the bleeding, I'll get back in. I don't have a problem with that. Microsoft at the lows, it gives me a lot of potential upside, but I don't want to be caught in a dead cat bounce off, the lows of the day. So that's why I got out. Now, this is a mistake here on Amazon. It was a good trade. We took 30 pennies on the top. But the fact of the matter is, I looked at this level, 188.90, as the previous area of support. And I I theorized that the previous area of support would act as resistance and took it out there. I didn't account for, number one, the whole dollar and for these area crests over here. And I also didn't account for the fact that, even not by much, we are still putting in higher lows. So look, if if Amazon comes back into VWAP, I'm going to take it again. But we are in a range, and we have been in a range for the better part of almost an hour and a half now since we broke down there and started straddling VWAP. So we'll see what we get there with AMZN. But if it comes down into that 60 penny area, 50 penny area, I'm gonna want to take it again. Now TWG has been it's been holding up at 580. Kind of a random area. I mean, we have some price action support and rejections there on the way up, like this area rejected off 80. We cleared it. We came back down. We used 80 as support. And now we've used it a couple of more times over here. But guess what? That same situation of lower highs is still intact. And if you want to make the argument, this could be you know why? Because we're awfully close to VWAP. Here's the look on the 5-minute. Ugly topping tail. Since the topping tail, successively lower highs and lower lows. With this, let's just call it the $0.50, 2/3, whatever, as support. Kind of a flat level. Well, look what's right below that level. So if the bid gives up there and the bid drops off, this 550 is probably not going to mean a whole lot. I mean, VWAP, yes, okay. It's an important level, especially for these small cap gappers taking them north and south, at least for me. But I think that we're awfully close here. Now, the other side of that coin is you could make the argument there's a buyer here. Every time we dip into this area of like whatever, low 70s, high 80s, or sorry, low 80s, we're encountering buying. All right. Well, then why aren't we making any higher highs, right? Like the buying is not strong enough at the moment. Now, if it does get strong enough and we start curling to make those higher highs, I'm all eyes on TWG. I mean, you know that I love the trade called the VWAP hold high of daybreak, which is essentially when you move up big in the start of the day and then, during the illiquid time of the day like now, it kind of straddles VWAP but holds VWAP into the more liquid time of the day, and then we kind of test that high. What was that, Fabian? TWG, I'll give you the exact name of it right here. It's actually called Top Wealth Group. Yeah, TWG is called Top Wealth Group. Yeah, I know. I don't even know the names of these companies. It's kind of like not even important.
You just know the abbreviation of it?
Yeah, or I could tell you the name, the price action and like the ticker, but I wouldn't be able to tell you anything about the name. I mean, isn't that normal though for us who are just
we see like
action?
so many things. So yeah, like we're just flicking through tickers.
Right?
So yeah, it's fair. It's fair.
What are you looking at over there? I see Spider.
Yeah, I was looking at that SPY. I'm still trying to determine whether or not this is a long or a short. It's at that point where it could be both. And so I'm not too sure. I was just looking at it, but no distinction yet as to what I'm going to do with it as of right now. I really was looking at this Intel, though. Intel is really interesting to me. It's holding that VWAP very distinctly. I'm liking that VWAP floor there. I'm not necessarily getting involved in this range, but I do want to see the break of 23.72 to 74, so I do have an order out there. So definitely waiting to get filled there. Looking to take profits around the high of day, around 23.79. Not necessarily at the highs at 82s, but 79s just a little bit before it, just because I want to make sure that I do get that fill. And so I'm just waiting for that there just because I do like that, but want to see some more volume. But I do like the fact that it never really broke VWAP. And so that is typically very bullish in my type of trading strategy. So really liking the look of that on Uber. And then another thing that I'm looking at is Amazon. And Amazon, I mean, like, I don't know what to do with this. Like, I really wanted to short it, but it's still not giving me the confirmation for the short. Still want to see that 188.42 coming in for, more confirmation on that short. But it looks like it's bouncing. It's holding VWAP. So looking pretty decent for the long there, but wouldn't want to get involved unless we break this range around 189.16. Coin going to 180. Let's see. Let's look at that coin.
Yeah, bro. Rock.
Wow. Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Oh, wow. Yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, I definitely think that is a level that you should be looking at. It's around, an even dollar level. So I'm liking that. I'm liking the look of that as well. Nice break off there. I'm liking this hold around 176.19 in terms of just, I want to make sure that it holds this level. If there is a pullback, I want to make sure that there's a little bit of a consolidation there. If there is a continuation up, but definitely looking good for coin. Definitely see it getting to that 180 level. Looking really good there. Uber is something that I was looking at as well. Usually there's something that I've been working on. I call it like the triangle break, where you kind of, it reaches like a point of a bounce. And so it's reaching this point around 84.73. Looking for a possible breach, but the thing is I have to remind myself that the triangle breaks are not always going to work because Uber is strong. Uber has like, you know, a catalyst behind it as of right now. And it's at all-time highs. And who am I to think that I'm going to catch the top, you know, shorting all-time highs?
Some credit.
Right? I don't know, but like, I don't know. I don't think it's a good look, to be honest. And so I thought that it would be a good look, but I just have to remember the context of like what I'm looking at. It's at all-time highs. It has like a pretty positive catalyst. And so I'm not liking it anymore. Was going to look for the short, and it is setting up visually and in terms of the structure, but I just have to remember the context behind that. And so that's what I'm looking at, Sharif.
Fair. All right, I weaseled back into Microsoft over here because it's putting in, look, it could be this umbrella pattern that Adara talks about a lot, which is, you know, kind of not dissimilar to what Neil says when he says a dead cat bounce, right? I mean, it's not the best term, but it makes the point, which is what we're talking about here. When we have a big move down, it looks like we're curling back up, only to drop right back down. Now, we'll have to see here what we get on Softy, right? I saw a seller at 80s, so I was a little concerned with that. Looks like we took out that seller. Well, we're still not printing above 80s, though, on the bid. So that seller is there. We've crossed on the ask. We can't really seem to weasel up. I didn't get the best price. I was looking here on the 5-minute, and I liked what I saw in terms of higher lows on the 5-minute candle. Look at this. We're still unable on the level 1 over here, eye on the red and the green, the top part. We're still unable to cross 80 on the bid. So there is something to this, and down we go again, zigging and zagging over here. So what I saw on Microsoft, what got me interested, was these candles all had kind of bottom wicks. So I felt like buyers were buying them up. It's kind of, you know, a bit of a tougher situation to see kind of this forming and then have to chase it because you're getting it at lows, and it's a tougher situation. So we'll see. I've given myself a decent room here to allow this to work in. I don't want to be DCAing into this at all because I just don't want to give back any money. And here's the look. So what I'm looking at right now is what the future's doing too. And the future just went negative, the NQ that is, albeit barely. 20,430 is yesterday's closing print. We're printing 25, so we're down 0.02. That's not the point to tell you that we're negative and that Microsoft's going to tank. It's just the point is we're moving down on the futures with kind of maybe a skewed looking double top there. If that's the case, then, you know, Microsoft could sell off, right? We often talk about the correlation between the futures and the Mag 7, and there's a reason we talk about it. And here we go again. We're unable to cross 80 on the bid. Oh, finally, we crossed it. Let's see if it's a dead cat cross. Well, is that even a thing? There we go. We got a print. Okay, good. So let's see if we can weasel up a little bit more. I feel like I paper-handed the trade first time around. I didn't take enough profits. Let's see if we can eke out some more profits over here. I'm going to look to see if we can break and take 414. I think that's going to really be contingent on the NQ going green, or, you know, at least getting a bit of a curl up here off 20,425. We'll pack our patience. What's HIMS doing? HIMS is retracing, so we got into that 40. Are we below the 10 exponential on the 5? Not quite yet, but we are rounding, though. So I need to be cognizant of this on HIMS, right? I wet my beak on some profits, didn't want to take it out at 40s, and here we go again. Now we're touching the 10 exponential. Last time there was bamboozlement, though, right? So the closing print are all north of the 10 exponential moving average on the 5, but this wick, I mean, it would have stopped you out, closing print or not. If you had a resting order south of the 10, you got stopped out. So we'll see. We'll see what we get here. I'm going to pack my patience with HIMS. What's Microsoft doing now? We're still zigging and zagging at 80 still. So I've wet my beak on some profits. I can, you know, pack my patience a little bit more here. I just have to adjust my stop. But I'm looking for something maybe above 414. I just don't want to be quick to take it out. What are you guys looking at? I don't think I've asked anybody to vote. That means that we probably don't have that many votes, guys. The big kahunas today include Obi and Neil. Sean is taking the day off, but if you want to see how your trade would have mean reverted if you had taken it, throw it into the chat. If you want to see how Neil would have traded something you didn't see or you didn't trade, get into the chat right now. Vote for your favorite tickers every day. Exclamation point join, that word $, or that symbol $, and the ticker of your choice. So look, I'll take the Audi any day over that look, but I don't think that they're not equivalent there, right? Because one is a movie and one's real life. Yeah, remember that iRobot movie?
Yes.
Go back, Fabian. Let's see the Audi that Will Smith.
Ooh.
That looks good.
Is that real?
Yeah, well, it looks like they took an Audi TT and kind of, jazzed it up for the movie. It looks like a TT.
Oh, okay.
To me, it's a. It looks
It's
like,
for a movie. Oh, okay.
Remember iRobot?
Oh, wait. Oh, you know what I was
The Will
thinking
Smith
of?
movie.
I wasn't thinking about that. I was thinking about Wall-E. Whoops, wrong robot movie.
No, different one.
Okay, I don't think I've seen that one actually. No.
Yeah, iRobot's it's a classic. If you ever get a chance to watch iRobot, it's certainly a classic. It's one of my faves.
I will definitely look for it.
It's because basically it talks about robotics, and do you know Asimov's books on robotics and like
No,
sci-fi and
I
stuff
don't
like
know.
that?
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
no.
Anyway, so he posits these rules that all androids or droids, sorry, have to follow. Like there are 3 rules. Like you can't hurt a human. You can't do anything that would be bad for a human or something like that. I forget what the rules are specifically.
Okay.
But those are the 3 rules. And then one of the robots being made en masse, like kind of like Optimus, decides that he's a human now, right?
Interesting.
And
That's scary.
He's not going to adhere
Oh.
to the 3 Asimov rules.
Oh.
So he does things that hurt humans, and then he becomes a little rogue, and then Will Smith tries to take him out. That's what the movie's about. It's actually a good
Okay, that's gonna be on my
and let me
watch
tell
list.
you, it's like a 20-year-old movie, but when you look at the graphics, they're not bad.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, I love
There
that.
it is. Thank you. Look at Chilean Nightmare is
robot
doing
man.
the absolute most in a fantastic
Thank you. He's doing
way.
our homework.
A robot may not injure a human through inaction, or allow a human to come to, or through inaction, or allow a human to come to harm. A robot must obey the orders given it to by human beings unless such orders would conflict with the first law. And last, a robot must protect its own existence as long as such protection does not conflict with the first or second law. That's a whole lot of reasoning right
This
there.
is crazy, but do you think that a computer could ever be smarter than a human? This is just like so random.
Yeah, I do.
You definitely think? Yes?
Yeah,
Okay.
In terms of creativity, that might be interesting though, because you feel like when you use these LLMs, I feel like they lack creativity, and that's where humans come into play.
Okay.
Like in terms of digesting information, like they talk about what was that 4.0 ChatGPT 4.0 was able to get like the 90 some odd percentile on the bar exam.
Okay.
So in terms of like that kind of thing, it seems to do really well. But you know what? I also heard in that it functions at very high level when it comes to complicated tasks, but very simple tasks like driving, picking up a bottle, understanding that the bottle goes here, not there, basic stuff that humans can do no problem, it sucks with. Maybe that's just the early stages though.
Yeah,
Right?
that's an interesting look.
I don't know.
So something that I'm looking at is MU. So someone was saying, what the heck is going on with MU? And I thought that it had a very distinct structure that I was looking at. And I feel like this is like the best example that I have for like my VWAP floor or VWAP ceiling if I were ever to, have like a distinct look at it. And so what I'm looking at is this shelf here. Look how distinct that is. Look at that shelf. 106.80s, it just could not go above that. We had this rejection here, comes down, tries to come back up. It's bouncing along VWAP, and then it comes down here. But what I thought was more distinct, and I got in for a little bit of a scalp, was this shelf here. And then as you can see, like on the 3-minute, that they're sloping down slowly and slowly. And I thought that a really nice level to risk off of was this wick here. Well, it's not this wick, but this candle here at 106.65, because it should not go above that level. So if I go back to my chart here, I did a little bit of a scalp around 106.10, got in, got out around 105.99. You know, nice little scalp there, and I just thought that was really distinct, really nice. Shout out to the person that said micron there. I know you're saying what the heck was it doing, but I just thought that was very distinct, and I wanted to, you know, take advantage of that move, and so that was really interesting there. So really nice. So what else are you guys looking at? TWG. TWG, have not heard of that company.
Trading that. That's a small cap gapper.
Oh, that's you? Okay, let's just take a look at it here. Okay, this is nice. This looks really nice for the short. I like that it broke down through VWAP. If I were to get in, I would be risking around this $6 mark. I think that nice even dollar level, and then we will be going to Adara. She has some big news for us.
Oh no,
Oh no! Oh, she's right there. She's back there. Oh, sorry.
No, we're gonna pay some bills.
Okay, we're gonna pay some bills.
My bad. Imagine trading with someone else's capital instead of your own. That's what it means to be a funded trader at Trade the Pool, and this is how it works. You complete the evaluation process by meeting profit targets. Once you succeed, you trade the pool's capital, which gives you the ability to trade with up to $260,000 in buying power. The best part is you keep up to 80% of the profits while the firm takes all the risk. It's the ultimate way to trade, whether you're a beginner or a professional trader. So go on and check out tradethepool.com. I went over to the website and it looks quite promising. So scan that QR code on the bottom right of your screen, or get into the description of this video and click that link. Shout out to the good folks there at Trade the Pool. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Katz there. He's always doing a fantastic job.
Thank you for that.
All right, guys. We broke down a little bit here on HIMS. We're still a couple of pennies in the money, but now I really need to ask myself the question, am I getting in at this 20 exponential? And the answer is going to be no. Couple of reasons. One, this candle could very well end up like this, where it breaches the 10, gets bought up super quick, and then, you know, pushes everybody out and then goes on its merry way. We'll find out. Okay, that's number one. Number two, I'm not going to be adding here. Now, if this candle over here at 1250 ends up looking similar, not exactly, like this candle at 12, I'm adding. I'll add on the first 5-minute candle to make a new high. What does that mean? So look at this. This candle's high was 1228, meaning that if we drop down there, I would have waited until this area, 1829, to add. So it would have been about 10 minutes later. That is how it wants to play the price action, where it breaches the 10 exponential to push everybody out, only to go on its merry way. That's how I'm going to play this. But if it breaches 20, the 20 penny area and the 20 exponential just happens to be that way, I'm getting out. So that's my look. And VERB is a dang rocket ship. Unreal. I thought this was going to give up the ghost. Once it topping tailed and it dropped below VWAP, I was not using anything related to the 10 on this one. I was like, all right, this is going to give up the ghost at VWAP. It's going to be a V-shaped retracement. We're going back to 5 1/5. I was absolutely wrong about that. This one topping tail, well, this one worked its way up into 1087, knocking the door of $11. It is, though, getting extended away from that 10 exponential moving average on the 5. And if you watch me trade these small cap gappers, I use the 10 exponential as an informal gauge of overbought and oversold conditions. Once it gets away, too far away from the 10 exponential, I tend to wait for a bit of a reversion. I like this 9.5, 9 1/4 area for support, for an area support test. So what do I mean by that? If we were to come down off this current price action, I'm looking to buy at around 9 1/3, 9 1/4, 9 1/2. I really need to watch the price action then. Why? Because we had so much chop and churn as a resistance level there. So I'm looking for it to possibly act as support if it works its way up in there. So good look right now for VERB. It's a dang rocket ship. And here comes 1820 on HIMS. If it breaches that, I'm gone. So that's going to be my look there. What's Microsoft doing? All right, we worked our way back up over there. I didn't want to take this out, even though I was out of the money for a while, because it was still holding that low quite well. So I'm going to pack my patience, knowing very well that this looks awfully bear flaggish, right? Move down, have a consolidation area, and then you could flat bottom break through 413.40. I'm keeping my eye on the futures to see what the situation is with that, but I'm going to hold on to the position for now. What are you doing?
For sure. So someone said Netflix in the chat, and so I really like the look of Netflix, but something that I've been working at recently is the break of the day's low for the continuation of a short. So, I mean, I was gonna punch in as of right now. Let's take a stab at it. I'm gonna put my order in at 724, and hopefully if we can break that, then you know, we'll go to the downside, the down. So let's do it. So I'm gonna put my order in at 724 and then 723. I'll give it about, 2 pennies, and then we'll go in from there and I'll place that order there. So waiting to get filled. There's a big spread on it, to be honest. There's around 30 cents in the spread. Okay, it just skipped over me. Great. Wow. And it's going to the downside. Damn, see, I hate when that happens. That happens so much to me. Okay, so in a situation like this, how much would you cross? Because I feel like I never really typically trade stocks with such like a high spread. And so how much room would you give it in order to get filled?
Hold on, sorry.
Okay, sorry.
My bad.
Do your thing.
Yeah.
So I was looking at Netflix, skipped over me, skipping a pop, and it's going to the downside, damn. But this is definitely something that I've been working on, very much so, the break of the pre-market low. And I like the fact with confluence of VWAP is below VWAP, really liking that. And so that is what I was looking at. And then another thing that I was looking at is it's near, not exactly, but it's near the previous day's low here, around 724 10s, 11s, and so that was very interesting, the fact that it was approaching near that previous day's low. And so very interesting for the short. I think I'm going to cancel my order, to be honest, just because it skipped me, and so I wanted it specifically at that level. I don't necessarily want it to bounce at that level. So I'm just going to cancel that. Unfortunately, if I miss a bigger part of the move, then so be it. But I wish I really could have caught that.
What was your question again?
Yeah, so my question was, I only gave it 2 cents of a cross, but the spread was like 30 cents. And typically, I give like all of my tickers, regardless of like how much they are, like 2 cents. But like, what would you recommend? Because this has happened so many times.
On Netflix?
Yeah, on Netflix. Like it has a 30-cent spread at the time that I was trying to enter. So how much would you give it?
So for a buffer between my entry and my stop, or the spread between my trigger and my limit?
Yeah, your trigger and your limit.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna give it about like 30 pennies.
Okay,
Yeah,
so as much as
Netflix
the
is a
spread
monster,
then.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. Otherwise, your stop may not get triggered.
Okay, fair.
Unless you're gonna use a market order stop, and then that's the Wild West.
Yeah, that is the Wild
West. You don't know where
Fair.
right?
Okay,
and
so
that's the thing.
So you would say give it as much as what the spread is.
Yeah, and can I also add to that?
Yeah.
When I trade these small cap gappers, the bottom can drop off at any time. Right?
Yeah.
Like that's just the way they're manipulated.
100%.
And so if you don't give your small cap gapper a buffer between the trigger and the limit, that same thing can happen, like on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
The line will go there on your chart, and you'll be like, okay. It's just like going below, nothing's triggering, and you're out of the money a lot.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
You can't manage risk like that. So yeah, I completely agree with you there. I have to give it quite a bit of room.
Okay, I was a little bit scared because I've never actually had a cross like that much. Usually, like sometimes if I usually look at like what the price action is doing,
right,
and say it was at that 724 level, I'll try to do a limit order very close to it. But I was doing like not like a J, but
Arca?
yeah, like that,
Yeah.
and then had that range. But yeah, 2 cents definitely wasn't enough for Netflix and got skipped over there. So very sad about that. That would have been a nice little scalp there.
Okay.
It's bouncing off of that. It's bouncing off of 723.73, and then yeah, I just canceled my order there. Didn't like that. So someone's saying Vic Novak. He's saying SPY. Let's go. Let's go to the SPY. Spying on you. What are we doing here? Yeah, SPY, let's go. Yeah, it has like this bounce here around 578.10. I would say that this would be a nice risk level. Just be careful about like what it does there, but that looks pretty good. I want to see more of, a bounce here at this VWAP level, more confirmation here. I'd say a place that would give me more confirmation is around 579.34. That would, give me a little bit more of a confirmation there, but I like the bounce. I like the bounce on the 15-minute, but I do want to see another candle. And then we're going to Adara. She has some good news for us.
Crypto update.
Take a look here at crypto. What I usually like to do is take a different look here on this afternoon crypto segment than what I do at 10:30. So today, instead of looking at the daily chart of BTC, I want to take a look at the weekly. And I'm seeing a bit of a rounding bottom, potentially a cup and handle type look. You don't want to diagnose these moves before they happen, but we have this nice rounding out here before finding a bit of resistance just above that previous high here, current high here around that 72,000 level. Had some lower highs since then on the weekly chart, but now what's pretty interesting is we're trying to make a bit of a higher low. This is our second day in the row of, or second week in a row, sorry, of weakness here for BTC, but these last two have had some bottoming tail candles, and we're holding on decently to that 62,000 level, which was a bit of resistance previously on the weekly chart. So let's see what we do here. Of course, the 60,000 level pretty key as well that we struggled with yesterday. That was some previous resistance on the weekly as well. If you go back to early March 2022 or early 2022 in general. So let's see what we have here on the BTC weekly chart, but it looks like we could potentially push higher on this name. Now, I want to take a look at some crypto stocks as well. Yesterday, we did a bit of a deep dive into MSTR and MARA. Today, I want to look at Coinbase, which is up about 8% right now and finding some support here in the 3-minute chart at this previous area of chop and chip around this 177 level. Let's see if we can keep pushing higher here. High of day currently, I'm seeing 179.18. So we are currently about $2 removed from that area. Let's see what happens here on COIN. But generally, bit of an uptrend and earlier a bit of a bull flag for Coinbase. Let's see if this one bases out and pushes any higher. If these are any other tickers you like, you only have 50.
I'm really happy with this trade, and I'm also really annoyed with this trade. Got literally bottom wick at 413.40. We took it out at 80, so it was a nice 40-penny winner, but true to form, it continues to go. Now, I didn't have the foresight to think that we would really blow through this 414 level because we would just kept rejecting there. So I was like, okay, I'll play the range. And if we get a breakout trade, I'll have time to get back in because it'll test 414 this time as support. It didn't do that. So now I'm looking at a different trade on Microsoft now that I'm done with it. I'm looking at a possible 415 short. Now that the future is going to have to cooperate with that. Like, you're not going to see me punching in short 415 when the future breaks the high of the day. Like, there's going to have to be some confluence between the two there. Oh, he just sat next to me, and the second he sat down, he couldn't help himself. He's like, "What's the next trade?" So I was like, "All right, Holby, just sat down. Take it easy, bro. Get your breath. Get some water in. No big deal." He's like, it's something you have to eat, breathe, and sleep. There is no time to rest. So shout out to Ob. 415. You can rest, but only if you rest on what the next trade is. Shout out to Ob. He is a true believer, baby. So 415, I'm looking at that level if it wants to work its way up into 415 short. There's also the volume weighted average price a little bit higher than that 415, about 415, 14 or 15 or so. So right now it's struggling with the 20 exponential moving average on the 5. I'm talking about Microsoft. This level right here, let's load up Softy. So this was the reason I got in. Super simple, guys. We were at day's lows, and we did these kind of bottoming tail candles where you could tell someone was buying it up at that level. It dipped down, as you can see over here. I added again after scalping. And so it's just been, adding at these levels and getting out, adding at these levels and getting out. So Microsoft, good look today, but I'm still interested in the short at 415. Let's see if it sets up. No guarantees there. What's HIMS doing? So I added on HIMS as well. It came in right into that level that it found support at last time. I don't know why, and I don't care. 815, 1815, 1816 or thereabouts is where it found its footing. I added there, and I'm looking to wet my beak for some profits into that 18 and a third. We'll see if we get it. It's bouncing a little bit right now. On HIMS, look, it's not a big mover on the day percentage-wise. But have a look at that red to green move. I mean, for whatever reason, we were selling off in the pre. We continue to sell off after the bell right into 10 o'clock. And then there's some callous people who say smart money comes in after 10. I wouldn't be one of those people, but there is some evidence to that on this chart because right at 10 o'clock, it started going green, and it really hasn't looked back since. So HIMS only up 2 1/3 on the day, but this is one hell of a red to green move here. Recovery, you often hear Neil talking about red to green and green to red. That's what he means by that. We're kind of we start off the day in Redsville, and then we end up going into the positive territory. So good look right now for HIMS. Good look as well for VERB. Just knocked on the door of 11. Again, it's too extended away from the 10 exponential moving average for me to weasel my way into this. I'm talking about VERB. Sorry, I didn't put the watermark on there. And like I said before, I'm very interested at a trade on VERB between 9.25 to 9.5. You're not going to see me with a resting order in and around there. That's how you get in trouble. I need to watch it as it trades in and around there to prove to me, yes, there are buyers stepping up. And there's any number of things you can look for in order to gauge whether buyers are stepping up. Look for bottoming tail candles. Look for price action support on the book. Is there something on the bid that keeps us up at this random level? Is there no size on the bid, yet we're not dropping down? Lots of little hints you can look at to see whether or not, you know, we're going to hold up at the level that you've identified. All right, I'm happy with this trade. Again, we wet our beak on some more profits on HIMS. Added at 20, took it out at 30. Still holding a bigger position here, looking for the high of the day break, knowing full well that last time around we couldn't break through that 40 wick, close, or otherwise. So I'm very interested to see whether or not, number one, we can take out 40 this time, and number two, if we take out 40, whether I should add. Because we already know that that's been a very important resistance level on the day. Does it act as support once we breach it? So a lot of unanswered questions. I know I'm talking to myself, but that's kind of the way it works there. Black sheep trades. Okay, it is. Thank you very much, dude. The dude's on point here, man. Let's load up. Where is it at, bruh? VERB. We're going to have to get rid of, who are we going to get rid of? We're going to get rid of Amazon. I hope the trade is not gone. Here it is. It's at 12. It's at 9.50 right now. Let's watch it here. Let's watch it. And so it got into 9 1/3, and it found its footing super quick there. All right, here we go. Down into 9 1/3 again. Zigging and zagging, as you can see. Tape moving quicker. Book moving quicker. Why? Because you're at that level that if I'm looking at it, other people are probably looking at it too. Okay, so let's watch here. If we get that curl back up, we know we have a lot of room from this 9.5, 9 1/3 area that we're at to the $11 HOD. We could squeeze back up there. In fact, we can even take it out. So lots of opportunity today on Verb. But I got to tell you, if you're a newer small cap gap trader, stay away from this, right? Because it's just moving to, you know, choose something a little bit more subdued. Because this is an animal right here. I don't mean to disrespect animals or anything. Got PETA sending me an email, or you never even know. But that's a look. What are you doing over there? I don't even know why I'm bumbling to myself. It's Friday, man.
It's Friday. We're having fun time here. So I was looking at Uber. So Uber, I don't know what you're doing, but I have my stop below 84.55. So I have it around there here. What I was looking at was it looked like it was bouncing off of this level, 84.66. I thought that I could catch, you know, a break of this level around 85.50. I got in at 85.44, got in a little bit too early there, and I was looking, you know, for that long. It's coming down a little bit, retracing. Not necessarily saying that I'm wrong as of yet, but I do not want to see it get to that 84.55 level. I think that then I'm jumping off the bus, I'm getting out of that Uber, and I am going home. So I'm looking at that, not really looking too good there. Something else I'm looking at is coin. I like coin just because I like this part to risk off of. I like the fact that we're curling up here. We have a little bit of a curl. I like this kind of rounded bottom here. It's retraced back to this kind of local high here around 176.15, and not necessarily reaching that level exactly, but I do like the fact that it kind of reached near that level and bounced off of that level. And so a target that I'm looking at here on coin is 180. I really distinctly believe that we can get up there. And so, you know what, we're gonna take a stab at it. I'm gonna put in my order here at the break of 179, and then I'm gonna risk here. Do I want to give it this much room? I think I'll give it. I feel like this is most distinct, this bounce here, so I will give it that much room. I'll put my stop here at 176.94, and then I will put my order in, and then we are going to Adara, and I'm putting my order.
keep an eye out here. LLY, Eli Lilly breaking down here on the order book and on the chart. This one initially popping up here earlier after Nikkei reported that its CEO, David Rick, said that the company is close to getting obesity drug approval in Japan, on track for that in 2025. So bit of a move to the downside here on watch right now for LLY, guys. Currently breaking below the previous support of 924.
Thank you for that, Adara. Thank you so much. So yeah, I'm looking at a coin here, and I'm just not liking it. So I think I'm gonna switch over. I'm not really liking it too much as of right now. I mean, we are approaching that 179, but I don't know. It's just so extended. I feel like I should have got it back at VWAP, and that would have been a better entry there. But let's take a second look at it. Yeah, I would have rather gotten in closer to VWAP. This is a little bit too extended for me, not really in my playbook. But I do like the look of it in terms of this risk level at 177. But I think as of right now, taking a lot of losses today, and so I don't want to take another one. And so I'm just going to leave that on the side today. So that is what I'm going to do. MU is recovering from that bounce off of 105.86. We're approaching VWAP again. So very interesting there. Want to see a break of that VWAP in order to to get involved there. I like this distinct break and then that bounce there. So looking good on that. Amazon, okay. So it's breaking through this range. Something that I was really looking at was this 189.19. I like the fact that it held VWAP. It's coming up here to the top of this range, and we look like we're holding here. I see a little bit of a shelf on the 3-minute at 188.95. And so I'm just going to look here on the 15-minute. Really like the look on the 15-minute. It has the bounces off VWAP and strong wicks up to the upside. And so, okay, so we reached that level, 189.16, and then we're breaking down a little bit. So I do want to see a full break. At least I want to see 2 3-minute bars above this level in order to get involved. But definitely a level that I am looking on the lookout for as of right now. So looking at that, let's see Intel. I did cancel the order because it was just sitting there for a bit. Okay, didn't reach the top of the range that I was looking at. 23.73 was something that I was posting at for my order. Just canceled it. I feel like sometimes if the order doesn't get filled, probably within like 20, 30 minutes, I don't like it to kind of float around, and so I just cancel it. And so that is what I'm looking at. Someone's saying Long Tesla, he's got robots building robots. What?
Okay, can we talk about this for a second?
Yeah.
Look, I'm not trying to throw shade.
Okay.
And I'm an Elon fanboy. I want to make that very clear. I'm starting off with that as the premise.
Okay.
Okay? But when I was watching the dialogue of some of the robots yesterday, it didn't strike me as AI speaking.
Interesting.
Now, the actions seem legit. Like it's obviously not a human inside the robot. It's an actual robot that's standing up. He's moving and everything. Well,
They're a little bit freaky, but yeah.
Yeah, but people were talking with this thing afterwards, and it was umming. And I've been using
humming?
Umming.
What the heck? That's weird.
I don't know about that. Fabian said it could use it as processing buffer. Personally, when I've seen these things buffer, they just take time to respond. But once they respond, they don't hem and haw.
Yeah.
Right? They just respond.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, and there's no hard and fast rule that says everything has to sound like ChatGPT.
That's fair. I mean, maybe they wanted to really, sound like a human, think like a human, have, those breaks like a human. But I think that's a little bit strange.
That's actually a good point. Like if they actually programmed it so that it would hum and haw like a human.
Yeah.
So give it more of a human. Well, I didn't consider that.
I
didn't consider that. But look, I got to tell you offhand, it just didn't seem like it was.
What are they using them for? Like, what are these robots for? Is it to like take care of like an elder? Like, what is it? What is it exactly?
It's to iron clothes, go and do my dishes, laundry. I'll bully the hell out of this thing. I'll tell you. Brendo's like, you bully this thing, it's gonna kill you in your sleep.
How much is this thing going for? Because
We're thinking 20,000, something like that.
Whoa!
Yeah, but think about it. Like, I mean, this is a droid that can literally replicate a human.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to put a price on humans, obviously, but there is like, and clean the house, give old back massages, tell him how great of a mean reversion trader he is. You know what I mean? Like, there's all sorts of stuff that can be done. No, seriously.
Do not be surprised, though, if we see someone getting married to one of these things, attempting to.
Already, we're gonna have to change like the laws so that I don't know. I'm not even gonna get it. I don't even want to go down that
spiral.
rabbit hole. Yeah. No, seriously though, I'm telling you the truth though. Offhand, I think Elon is a dang genius. He's a once in a generation type person. But what I saw yesterday from the droid or the Optimus, I didn't feel it was natural. I'm not trying to throw shade, but that was just my opinion.
I mean, it's still in the early stages.
Sure, but tell us.
That's true.
Don't deceive.
That's
I'm
fair.
not, again, I have no proof. I'm just speaking off the cuff. Like, there were so many videos on X. Woke up this morning because I didn't stay up for the event, right? So I'm just scrolling, looking at some of the announcements and stuff like that. And it looked fantastic. I mean, this thing was serving people drinks out of a tap, pouring drinks, handing them to people. It was all legit.
Very
Let's be real about it.
Yeah.
But the talking.
Kind of freaked you out.
That was the one that I just didn't feel like. Think closer to 300,000. Crassy, really?
Whoa.
300,000. I don't know about that, my man. I thought it was going to be similar to like an entry-level car.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That would
Like,
make more sense. Yeah.
Who knows? And Brendo and I were, one sec, babe. And Brendo and I were talking this morning about, can it be two forms of revenue? One, you buy the actual car. So if you want to buy the robotaxi, you buy the robotaxi. You want to buy the droid or the Optimus, you buy Optimus. But then there's a recurring revenue model, a SaaS, software as a service, right? Where you actually pay either for the FSD software or for different options for Optimus. Like Optimus can do this, and that if you get this package or that package.
I could definitely
You know what I'm
see that. I
saying?
definitely think it wouldn't do like a wide range of things. You're probably right. It probably is like a package like, okay, like housely duties, or cook,
Right?
clean, like do that type of stuff. And then who knows what else they'll charge you for.
I thought it was super
I'm sure he'll
interesting.
get creative with it.
Right. Anyway, what are you looking at over there?
For sure. So as of right now, I'm looking at Uber. Okay, so I got filled on my Uber trade at 85.44. So I'm just gonna move on to that Uber. Yeah, so just got filled here. I'm liking this hold at 85s. Definitely want to see it hold there, but I feel like I'm not necessarily wrong until this break of 84.65. Not necessarily wrong in terms of it's going to reverse and go into a short, but I just don't necessarily want to give it that much room. And so, yeah, I have my stop loss around 84.55 still. And I'm going to keep it at that because I think that that is just where my risk lies as of right now. So looking at that, and then Tesla, I forgot why we mentioned Tesla in the first place, but looking at Tesla, it's just ranging. It's not really doing much, to be honest. And I really do, and I stand by it, that I really think that 250 and that 200 level is going to be where we start seeing those movements and those orders and that volume. And so I looking pretty sure. I mean, maybe you could take a stab at the short, but in terms of like a day trade, I want to see more volume there. So looking at that, and then just gonna get rid of this poll. Want to see what you guys are looking at. Long verb again. That is verb. I didn't take a look at this verb here. Verb, yeah, this is interesting action here. Like it on the long. In terms of the trend, I like the fact that it just comes down here, it bounces off these levels, bounces off 790, bounces off 834. And so we want to see that bounce again around this 867 level. I don't want to see a break of this kind of trend line. I don't really like that, but I want to see possibly, like, if it does break, I kind of want to see this and then a retest up. And so I want to see at least 2 to 3 5-minute candles staying above this trend line. So that is what I'm looking at there. I have a Tesla with FSD, and now we're close to safe. FSD, what does FSD mean?
Full self-drive.
Oh,
Remember, I did a video the other day of me driving that thing.
Oh, really?
Remember I told you, like, was I telling you or was I telling Joe?
No, I don't. I think you told Joe.
Yeah, okay. So I went last Saturday, and the video's out on our Instagram, by the way. And it was really good for the most part, but there were situations. So are you familiar with Yorkdale?
Yes.
Okay, so there's in the back of Yorkdale where the buses go,
Okay.
right? That's where you go and you exit basically the Tesla there. Guys, we're talking, right? So there is the exit there for in the back. Now, it's a one-way stop sign. Fabian, two-shot. There's a one-way stop sign, one-way stop sign. Everyone else at that stop sign has the right of way. You're the only person that needs to stop.
Okay.
It didn't understand that. And it was accelerating, thinking that the people coming were going to actually stop as well. I had to intervene. I had to hit the brakes hard. Yeah. But the good thing about it is, like,
were you test driving it, or?
Yeah, I test drove it, and I, like, for the purpose, obviously, of the 1010 event, right? That was to kind of get the feeling of how the robo-taxi would look.
Makes sense.
If it had anything, like, similar to FSD. And it was really good, Satya, in certain situations. Some other situations, like, I'll give you another example where it was really good. You know, Toronto's now going to give you a $400 fine if you block the intersection.
Yeah, I heard about that.
So it didn't do that. It gauged that the car in front of me was not in front of the white line, so it didn't cross the intersection. It waited until the car at the pedestrian cross passed, and then it went through. It never blocked the intersection. So it did cool stuff like that. Like, it understood certain situations, but it didn't understand others.
That's very interesting. And so another question that I have is, are they charging for the FSD, like, in terms of, like, a subscription?
No. That's the thing. So they were, I think it was $20,000 in Canada. I think they dropped the price. You have to literally pay $20,000 on top of the price of the car. But some people were trying to make the argument that that would be a discount. Because if you got FSD and you owned it, you wouldn't have to pay for a SaaS later, software as a service, down the line. Oh, baby, here we go on Verb. All right, we're 40 pennies in the money here. Let's see if we can weasel up into that 80 penny level. This chop and churn area is the area I wanted to take it out. Sorry to kind of digress super quick there.
Sure.
We're just waiting for the continuity, or here we go, back into the 60s. I'm going to put my beak wetter at 77s. What's life without whimsy? Let's see if it gets printed just to front run this level. I'm anticipating resistance at 80 pennies because of this area over here and this chop and churn over here. So if we don't get that move up, I'm going to flatten out through the break of the 40 penny area. But that was my look on VERB, looking for that 980 break. Here comes 65s. Look, can't quite make it up there so far. So we'll pack our patience with this one. Where are we long? We're long at 31. So good look right now on VERB. It's a bit of a bamboozler. So you're going to have to pack your patience, but it generally did hold up at the volume weighted average price. Obviously, wick below it, which would have stopped some people out had you had your stop shadowing the volume weighted average price. 69 showing up now on my ask. I'm waiting for 77s. We're packing our patience, but we may not get it as a result of these two area resistance levels over here intraday, still up 84 and some odd %. Good look there. So yeah, that's my look. And what are you looking at right now?
For sure. I'm looking to short coin, actually. Just jumped in at 177.50. I like the fact that it kind of made this distinct high here at 179.28. And so I'm looking at this break here, saw a little bit of a consolidation here. I know that this is kind of something that it goes out of the range of the range that I was looking at. But looking there, okay, we're down. Okay, nice, we're in the money, 20 pennies. Looking to take profits here at this wick around 177. So I'm going to put my take profit there just for a little bit of a scalp. So I'm just going to put that in real quick. And hopefully it gets down there. We're 25 pennies away from there. So hopefully we reach that. And then my Uber is still kind of trickling up. 85.44 is where I got in. Where are we on that Uber? Let's just see here. 85.27. Okay, so we are a couple pennies out of the money, around like 18 pennies. But you know what? It is what it is. I'm still waiting there. So that is what I'm looking at for that short on coin. And then something else would be nice if AMD got back to 169 after that huge sell-off. Let's look at AMD. AMD.
Can I just shut up Big Spile first?
Yeah.
He $5 super chat by the spiled one. If the Tesla can't drive me while I get service, this by the robot. I want no Big Spile. Come on, bro. Why do you do that to me, man? Yeah. Neil's just looking. Neil's got the super chat up. He's looking at it and just chuckling. I love it. Shout out to Big Spy. You're always making us chuckle, man. We love you on this show. But keep it clean, man. Come on now. Jeez Louise. Sorry to interrupt you.
It's okay. So looking at that AMD, looking really nice here. From around this high, around 1157, we have it just distinctly bounced off of there, and then it's continuing higher and higher and higher. And so where can we go from here? You know, I love my bus stop level. Gonna look at that bus stop level. I mean, the bus stop level here seems extended. Like 172 is the bus stop level that I'm looking at. Do I see it going there today? I mean, maybe, but I feel like that is just a little bit extended here. Something locally that I'm looking at is probably around this 168 level. I think that is pretty reasonable. And then again here at 169, definitely looking at that. Want to see that hold out of this 167.27, and then also this hold of this 166.32 if we break through there. Definitely want to see that as well. My coin is it's not giving me the coin. It's bouncing off of that level, and it's going to 177.90. Don't really like that. Wanted to see immediately a break of that level. Wish I got out of that scalp. So I'm just going to hop out of that because this is not necessarily something that I want to see here. So I'm just going to hop out of that coin. Sad, but it is what it is. And we are still in that Uber waiting for that. And that is what we're looking at here. Oh, didn't hear what they said there. What else are you guys looking at?
Gotta do a quick ad read.
Yeah, do those ad reads.
All right, guys. We're talking about work sport today. Introducing a new discovery on the NASDAQ, work sport, trading under ticker WKSP. Worksport is a U.S.-based manufacturer and rapidly expanding with growing revenues, government contracts, and innovative green energy products designed to power your life off-grid. Whether you're on the move or seeking sustainable energy solutions, Worksport has you covered. Now trading on the NASDAQ under WKSP, discover the future of clean energy with Worksport. Okay. Let's have a look at, yeah, there's the tonneau cover. It's okay. It's okay, no worries. Yeah, I got it, because it's in the calendar, Fabian, so I can do it too. Thank you very much for that Worksport shout out to them. I was joking with Sean yesterday. I'm like, man, once Marissa Katina gets that Rivian, she's going to definitely need one of these Worksport tonneau covers there, so. Shout out to the Katina man and enjoying his day off today. All right, guys, I weaseled out of VERB here because it did dip below 950. I was using 950 as my gauge, but I think maybe I got this one wrong. But as I look at it on the 5-minute, I'm not ready to set up on this one. I like what it's doing in the sense that it's holding up at VWAP over here, but I got to get a good price, more around 9. That'll give me room to breathe. So I punching in at highs, 950, 9 1/3. I don't know if that's the move, but here it goes again, man. Right up into that level. What I'm going to do is I'm going to set something up in the lower 9s, okay? Let's go 915 or something like that. Oh, why didn't it trigger? Let's go 915. Let's see if it wants to go this time. Yes, there we go. So we'll look to get something in the lower 9s there if it'll give it to me. If not, then, we'll either have to chase it or not trade it at all. But I like what it's doing on the 5-minute with respect to its price action at VWAP. Most of the closing prints north of there, and it's kind of consolidated, which is okay because we're still 130. This is kind of doing that VWAP hold high of daybreak possibly, right, with that $11 insight. So keep an eye out on that. I'm looking to get in to VERB. PACB, though, PACB, printing days high. I looked at this one a bunch of times in the 80s and the 90s. I said, look, it's not giving you much in the way of notional. Now it is. Now it's knocking the door of $2. What's PACB up on the day? I got to go to my banking. I don't know why it's not loading. Anyway, okay, can't see it right now, but $2 coming into view right now. 199 HOD. It's been awfully respectful of the 10 exponential moving average on the 5-minute. And there we go. We have a new high a day, $2. We've got to find out what this one is up on the day. just so that I have an understanding. All right, PACB. It is up 29.03%. So really good look today for PACB. Regional Bank, I believe. No, it isn't, man. Pacific Biosciences. I don't know why I thought this was a regional bank. Anyway, Pacific Biosciences, had that completely wrong, guys. I apologize there. $2 high a day. Let's see what this one does. I'm not punching in here, obviously, but I'll keep it on watch. Back to VERB, because it's still doing that sideways chop, and I'm not getting filled, but we're still within the range. So I'm packing my patience over here, looking to get filled in the lower nines to get a bit of a better price off which to base this trade. Because if we're going to be in this consolidative mode, you never really know if we're going to give way here or what. So having a price closer to 9 at least helps me set up my stop a little bit better. The problem with that is obviously I can miss out on the trade. So packing my patience here with VERB, trying to weasel back into this. Pac B is a Michael Burry stock, says John Del Segno. Yeah, you're right, dude. I completely got that wrong. I was thinking regional banks. It is a biosciences company, Pacific Biosciences. I had that one wrong. My mistake there. Thanks, John, for mentioning that. Yeah, Boot Burner mentioning it as well. Pacific Biosciences. My mistake, guys. I got that one wrong. We'll keep an eye out on Pac B no matter what, though. We do have money talks, though, so we're going to weasel on over to Adair at the big desk.
I'm also seeing here, unrelated to money talks, but briefly wanted to note as well, I'm seeing Kathy Wood's ARK Invest, according to the Kathy's ARK website, also holds a fair amount of PACB as well. So a little note there on Pacific Biosciences. Very interesting level we're coming into here on the DXY and the daily chart. We're basically flat on the day. Yesterday was pretty interesting. We had this wick into previous resistance of 103.20s before closing basically flat. Let's see if we get another flat day here. Right now we're trading around 102.84s. Now, this is also, interestingly enough, a bit of a previous support area. If you go back to mid-March, it actually served as resistance if you go back even further here to last year. So let's see what happens here, but this could be a bit of an interesting area. The DXY is trying to find some support, some resistance, or at the very least an area of consolidation for now on that daily chart. We did get PPI this morning. This is a pretty interesting print across the board because the year-over-year and month-over-month prints were distinctly different from one another. Month-over-month for core PPI was 0.2%, exactly in line with estimates of 0.2%. But so that was on the core basis. Just for the month-over-month PPI, though, that was actually flat compared to estimates of 0.1%. So lower than expected or in line PPI and core for month-over-month. Year-over-year, though, higher than expected across the board. Year-over-year, 1.8 versus 1.6% expected. Core, year-over-year, 2.8 versus 2.6 expected. So higher than expected for those year-over-year prints. Michigan consumer sentiment coming in lower than expected. This is the first month in 3 months that we've actually had a decrease instead of a move up here. So 68.9 versus prior print of 70.1 and estimates of 70.9. Interestingly enough, too, this is pretty key. One-year inflation expectations for October, 0.2% above estimates, 2.9% versus 2.7% expected. Our last Fed speaker of the day is slated to be Fed's Bowman, who apparently made no comments on monetary policy during her remarks, which started here at 1:10 p.m. A very light week next week for economic data. There is retail sales to be aware of, but we do have even more Fed speakers on the docket, so be aware of those Fed speakers ahead of that November FOMC meeting, which is just about a month and a half away right now, guys.
Thank you very much for that, Adara. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Fed Bowman, we got FOMC. Everything is on the up and up. Hopefully we'll get that other rate cut that everybody's been talking about. We are actually scheduled for 2. We got 2 more Fed meetings. We got November and December. So supposedly 25 bips a piece, but you never really know because they're data dependent. Yeah, okay. Sure.
One thing that I'm seeing here, which is really interesting, is that rejection on AMD at that 168 level. I know it's only 1-minute candles, but looking like there is some selling there. And so definitely interesting. I want to see what's happening on the book here. So I'm just going to go here. Interesting. Okay, I'm seeing a lot of size like on the ask here. 167.85. Yeah, definitely interesting there. Do you see that rejection? Like, what do you think about that? Do you think
AMD?
that just a little bit of a pullback, or do you think
Let's find out.
strong sell-off there? I'm looking at 167.23 as like a potential possible bounce.
All right, AM 167, sorry?
23,
23, okay.
25.
Okay, this is an excellent one because it's showing you its propensity to respect the 20 on the 5, the 20 exponential moving average on the 5. You got an excellent hold up here in the 11:15 time slot. Then you got another 12. You got a 3 candle hold up, 3 5-minute candle hold up at the 20. Initially, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 candle hold up. So my inclination is to either take it off that 167.10-ish where the 20 is hanging out now. I also like that area, Satea, because it's the top area over here. It was initially an area crest, let's say 167.20, 167.25. If they could conflate those two areas, that 20 exponential and that area top, I'd like it there. That's just how I'd weasel into it.
Okay, interesting. I like that look there. Yeah, definitely interesting on AMD, sorry. DJT at 26. DJT back over VWAP. Can it find a new high of day? Let's see on that DJT. Let's see here. I mean, I like the fact that it had this bounce here at 11.18, and then we had these two kind of double bottoms here on 24.72, looking really strong here. On the 15-minute, I do like the fact that it had these wicks here, bounced up, not too much of a strong reversal here. Like I like the fact that it didn't reverse here and engulf this kind of candle. Ooh. We kind of see that it just bounces halfway through the candle and then it's pushing its way up here. And so high of day, okay, 27.28 is the high of day. And so I could see that. I really want to see the hold of VWAP though, but I want to see, let's just go here on a longer time frame. I want to see at least 2 5-minute candles above VWAP. I think that, would give me a little bit more confirmation there. And then I want to see the hold of VWAP because we had this bounce here at 25.50s, which I feel like was really distinct. And so I want to make sure that it holds and could really shelf there and hold there. But I don't think that 27.23, the high of the day, is out of reach. But we want to see what it does at that level. Personally, I want to see it above 26.50s in order to really gauge if we can get that 27.25, but that's what I'm looking on DJT.
All right, guys, we're talking about e-signal. Are you ready to trade smarter, not harder? If so, upgrade to an elite trading experience. You can analyze, you can strategize, and you certainly can capitalize. Foresee those profitable opportunities with the platform you need. You get infinite data, you get instant trading. You know where the market is moving before others with that lightning fast data execution. That's charts that they've got change the game. Absolutely. You can customize and analyze the markets a lot faster and in your way and with your methods. Better backtesting and scanning is just basic with their platform. You can predict the future by understanding the past. Reliable real-time data is definitely one of their games as well, up to the second market info from hundreds of these global markets. Everything you need, all in one place. Don't miss a beat. Execute your best trades now. If you're ready to elevate your trading, scan that QR code in the bottom right of your screen or click the link in the description. Shout out to the OGs there at eSignal. All right, so I'm long VERB. I just wet my beak at the $0.50 there. We're going to keep trading this one until it tells me not to trade it, but it's forming a base in and around 9. I had to take it at a level that I didn't like. I wanted 15s. The market didn't want to give me 15s. It gestured to me with its hand. And so what we're doing right now is we front ran it by about 10 pennies. I'm still looking for a top break near the 60 to 70 penny area. We've been rejecting that area over and over and over again. So we'll see if we can take it out. I'm happy with this trade. I'm also very happy with the HIMS trade. I added at 20 twice, knowing that this was an area where we had found support. And I just wet my beak again there at 36, but true to form, broke high a day, and 40s have made me feel bad about myself. So that's all good. So HIMS certainly in play today. That red to green setup looking awfully good. Back to VERB, I'm gonna basically hang out near the near that $10 area. We're gonna wait at 88s, because what's life without whimsy? We have a seller at 50. We just took him out. Let's see if we can continue to move. The bid is still sticking at 50. There we go, now up to 54. Can we squeeze into the 60s? I think if we can take out 75 decisively, there's a bit of a gap here. In terms of price action consolidation. So let's see if we can weasel up through there. No, we're still encountering selling and or reinstitute of shorts. Here we go in the 60s. Let's go, baby. I'm waiting 88s, but we're zigging and zagging. That's just the way it is. So we're unable to take that $0.50 decisively. Forget about the 2/3 of a dollar and the 3/4. Let's talk about taking that 50 penny level. And there you go. The bottom dropped off just like that. Back into the third. Okay, and this is why I was insistent on getting something closer to 9 because of this chop and churn. If you're going to play the breakout, you just don't know when it's going to come or if it comes. So put the odds in your favor by getting at the bottom end of the range. That range is there for a reason. It didn't happen by accident. People are buying it. That's why it's ranging there. People are selling it. That's why it's ranging there. So put the odds in your favor. It's by no means a guaranteed look, but at least we can do what we can on looking at wetting my beak at 88s. Come what may, we'll keep looking at that. Jay Lee, one of the OGs in the chat. NVIDIA looking like a Huadunk. Incoming thoughts. Absolutely, Jay, let's have a look. Here it is. Oh, jeez. This is what Ram would call a sound wave. She's too busy right now on one of her 100 vacations, but it's all good. Look, what I see here, Jay, is lower highs. Absolutely, Jay, you called this. Now, whether it manifests into a flat bottom break or not, but this is what we're getting. We're getting, we'll wait for the animation to finish. 135.78 area crest. You can make the argument this is an area crest too, 135.40. Another lower high, 135 1/3. How about 135 1/4? You see where I'm going with this, Jay? Every successive crest is lower than its predecessor. Not the case, though, for the bottoms. You see that wick area come in to be between 3/4 of a dollar and 4/5 of a dollar generally. Whether or not we end up getting that, Jay, I mean, it's hard to tell, but NVIDIA does look like it wants to give way at that 134.80, 134.75 on a Huadunk basis. If it does, have at it, Jay. It's just hard to know right now, but I think that you're bang on with the lower highs and the flat bottom there. Could be a good look for the shorts. So pack our patience with their VERB still doing sideways moves, so I'll pack my patience. Before we send it to Satea, we're going to go back to Adara super quick at the big desk.
Yeah, we have NQs just turning positive again here, up about 0.06%. SPY turning positive. It's worth noting here, META pretty strong here on both the chart here and the order book basis, trying to make potentially a break of this 588 level, which has been on watch over the last few days. So META on watch here with about a 5-cent spread right now, actually, guys.
The monster meta.
Awesome. Thank you for that, Adara. We always appreciate it.
Oh, yeah.
And so I just jumped into MSTR, and damn, I really like this this high of day break. Really love those. I'm gonna bang it out, and I'm gonna take that real quick. MSTR, want to get out? Let me get out, please. Get me out of here. Why isn't it taking it? Hold on. Let me just get here. Trying to get out here. There we go. So yeah, with MSTR, just got out. Let me just go back to my chart here. So just got out around 208.43 with that nice scalp. I got in at 206.38. Really nice scalp there. Really love the look of that. I don't know. I could have held it, but to be honest, I'm a scalper. I'm in, I'm out. I really like to catch those quick momentum scalps. And so when I find where that increase in volume, I'm in and out within 1 to 3 minutes, so that was really nice. Do I have any bang? No, there's no bang today, but I would have hit that bang and taken that peak, whatever it is. Yes, thank you, Fabian. Thank you for that bang. Yes, and so that was a really nice trade today because I've been taking some L's. I'm not gonna lie, guys. I've been taking some L's, but I really like those high of day breaks. MSTR, how I found this was I just took a look on Market Chameleon. And so because I was looking at the trending tickers on Yahoo Finance, they were kind of letting me down, to be honest. And so I was just like, okay, let me look at unusual options activity. Saw that MSTR was on there. took a look on MSTR, saw that it was at the high of the day, and so I had to take that scalp because I do love those break of high of trades. And so why I liked it though, and what I'm going to get into is the fact that it came up, came down once, twice. Couldn't break that level, yes, and then OB thrice, it just broke through that level, and I was just like, that is very distinct. And I really like the fact that we had this bottom here around 200, 230s, and we had, 5 minutes. It just couldn't break here on the 5 minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 candles there, rejected off of it, came back down, still couldn't reject off of that level, and then I just had to take it. It was screaming, take me, and so that is what I did. And so going to Uber here, finally it's doing something. Glad I didn't really prematurely get out of that trade. Had my stop there at, 84.55, a little bit in the money, got in at 85.44, really nice about that. We're at 85.58, so looking really nice there. I did not want to give up on this trade because it was too nice. It was above VWAP. It was just consolidating, and I was like, okay, I don't really like the look out of it, to be honest, but I didn't want to be a paper hand in this instance. And so I really like that consolidation there, like the hold of VWAP, and just, this was a really nice trade. Didn't break VWAP all day, and I was just like, let me stay convicted, so I'm in it, gonna stay in it. I'm thinking that my take profit's going to be 86.25. I'm going to put my stop at break even, and we'll see where we go from there. How about you, Sharif?
Appreciate that. Yeah, I'm still dealing with VERB over here. We took the profits out in the mid 40s, but now it's coming down. So I'm wondering what my move is here. Am I adding? Well, you see an order out on my screen to defend 9. I've already got the order out there. We are putting in higher lows on this. That's, higher highs, and we still are putting in higher lows. Now, if we get into 9, here, that's the thing. So this is a mistake on my part. This 9 is wrong. Because if we get into 9, then we're putting in lower highs, and that's not what I want. So I want off the quarter. So that's what I'm going to leave it there, at the quarter. Now, if I don't get filled, that's fine. There we go. We just got filled. Okay, good. I already have my stop in place, though. So we're looking... basically play the range. Again, if it wants to give me mid-40s, I'll hold on to a piece for mid-40s, and I'll continue to hold a piece for the flat top break through 960. We'll see. We'll see. I'll keep trading this one until it tells me not to. But we've been kind of putting in this sideways consolidation for the better part now. I want to say of almost half an hour. Sorry, misspoke there. This is what I'm looking at on the 5, guys. So it's setting up like a possible head and shoulders. Certainly, no question about that. I do see it. We are putting in lower highs, though, on that right shoulder, if you wanted to call it that. We'll see. We'll see. Over here, I like the fact that it's holding VWAP. It doesn't have to stay that way. Here we go. It's breaking down into 910. That's trouble. So I should have left it at 9. I had the right idea there, so now it's going to have to hold 9. Otherwise, my stop will trigger through the break of 80s, and there it is. So we give it back a little bit there. Sucks to be me, but we were profitable on it until that part right there. So we'll look to do a little bit better. Let's see what levels set up over here. So this does look like it might be manifesting into a head and shoulders. What I'd like to see, though, if it wants to come back up and test 920, about 920. As a resistance level. If that's the case, we could get shorts on it and take it short there. If that is the neckline break, I don't mind doing that. So I'm going to pack my patience with this one. See, number 1, does it want to reclaim 9? If it does it work into 920 and then kind of meet that wall of sellers? Kind of the same thing like TWG, where we broke down below 620, and then once we broke down below 620, I used it as that level of resistance. So we'll pack our patience here with VERB. And see how this one wants to set up. But it was a breach of VWAP there. So all good. We'll keep an eye out on this one. What else we got in small cap gapper world? HIMS is still going. I'm done with my trade there. PACB continues to give you dips off that 10 exponential around 195 or so. Right now, where's the 10 exponential? Yeah, around 195. It's currently printing 196. It's not giving you much in the way of a big move, but if you're sizing into this, the liquidity is there and there's opportunities to make money. It's not my cup of tea, though. So we'll pack our patience and keep a lookout on some other stuff. MSTR is a dang rocket ship on the day. We just printed day's high there, 208.67. We're printing the quarter dollar right now. Getting extended though, like it's a hell of a move, man. This must be so heavily shorted. Why does it always move so aggressively? What is the float on this thing? Find out. So is it a short float or a high? Adara, can you find out what the MSTR short float is? So I see a float here of 15.7 million on my platform. That could be wrong. Authorized shares of 330. Issued, okay, so depending on whether you use issued or outstanding here, 24.5 or 15 and 3/4. So we'll see what the short float is on MSTR when we get it there. But yeah, this is a very, very strong name today.
Blasting off.
Oh, sorry, I didn't replug. I think we got a dare at the big desk.
I have all the details here in MicroStrategy. Also, guys, you have a bit less than a minute left to vote for your ticker of choice, exclamation point, join space, $, and the ticker. MicroStrategy, what I'm seeing here, and again, sometimes, as the Sharif just noted, there are different websites or sources will have different information. I'm seeing a market cap of $38.26 billion, a float of 182.91 million shares in a short float of 16.79%. So that would be 30.7 million shares short out of a total float of 182.91 million shares. Again, percentage-wise, it's going to be 16.8% short float from what I'm seeing on MSTR.
Thanks for that, Adara. Yeah, that's a decent short float there, 16 some odd percent. That's not too bad. But fundamentally different numbers between what I have as a float and what she has a float. Sometimes you just can't rely on these numbers, man.
No.
What are you looking at?
For sure. So I was just taking a look on the unusual options activity tickers. And so some things that stand out is BAC, KWEB. BAC I really like just because it's holding that VWAP, really like that. But one thing that I don't like is that I want to see some volume here. Slowly, incrementally it is going up here. Found a rejection level here around 42.18. But I really like the fact that it's holding that VWAP again. Never really broke VWAP all day, so liking the look of that. Not necessarily something that I want to trade as of right now, but maybe it might be in your playbook, and so just wanted to, shout out a ticker. Maybe, maybe you might be interested in trading it. And then KWEB. This looks like this has a little bit more juice. This one is bouncing off of VWAP as well. One thing that I do like is it's at this level where it was at yesterday's high. And so I think that is an interesting level. I do want to see if we can hold above yesterday's high at this 35.10 level. Really interesting there. But that is what I'm looking at on there. And then something else that was on the unusual options activity was MBLY, Mobile Eye Global. Never really heard of this ticker, to be honest, but very interesting, very distinct trend, just trekking up here. And it just comes down to this trend line and it just rejects and it just goes up, and it's not really looking like it's trying to stop as of right now. Maybe a pullback at VWAP, maybe that's asking for too much, 1250. But definitely looking like a nice uptrend. Looking at bus stop levels. What are we looking at? Okay, so at the bus stop level, 1310, it's kind of reaching that. This was Monday, October 7th, a pre-market high there. So something that I would want to look at, possible rejection or maybe a hold. Definitely something that I want to look at as well. And then another bus stop level I'm looking at is this day's high on Wednesday, October 2nd. This level here was at 1339. Definitely something interesting there. Two little bus stop levels that I'm looking at as of right now. What are you looking at, Sharif?
Hey, I'm just talking to Adam. What's up, my man? I was just about to message you back. Just saw the message right now, so can't write back now. But yeah, we miss you around here, Adam. Everything's good, brother. Weather's fantastic today. Started off cold, but it's going to be a high of 22. And if you know anything about Toronto, if you're getting 20-degree days in the second week of October, you count your blessings. So I'm pleased with that. Obviously, weekend should be good. Say it again, Fabian. We have a PSA.
I pity the fool that doesn't hit the like and subscribe button.
There he is. There he is. Everyone's favorite animation. I love that one. Yeah, no, seriously though.
Oh, he didn't do that live? I thought that was just an animation, like a
Yeah,
pre-made
yeah,
one?
we
Oh,
have a bunch of them.
Oh, I thought he just did it now. I was just like,
It took
I
him
believe it.
185 takes. I don't
get it
believe
right.
that, but he says it took him a bunch of takes. So shout out to Neil, man. All right, so we're in Amazon right now. I just got in a trade on Amazon, kind of doing a bit of a rounded, I don't want to say a rounded bottom because it's not on the lows, but it was kind of incrementally putting higher highs and higher lows. So looking to get a bit of a dip trade here on this one, possibly to ride it up as the future also puts in higher highs and higher lows. You can see that triple bottom on the 5-minute at VWAP, and then since then we've been putting in those incremental highs. If we break 180.89 though, that's going to be the end of my trade. It's going to have to hold up in and around there. As we kind of wind down the show, the poll, look at the poll, says Fabian. He's going to end it, so I got to do it quick. So Elon Musk, love him, hate him, or who is that? 59% love Elon Musk. I love Elon Musk. I think he's a once in a generation type individual. 19% hate him, and 22% like, who? We don't care.
that 18% is probably people in crypto. They probably got too much Dogecoin and then they're like, that.
Yes, exactly, right? Well, you never really know. Obviously, Doge, Department of Government Efficiency. Did you see that?
No, I did
not.
not.
Yeah, it was hilarious because people were talking about him possibly being some sort of something in the Trump administration if Trump ends up winning. So he kind of tweeted Dogecoin, which he loves Dogecoin, obviously, and then he played like the name, the Department of Government Efficiency, because that's what people were saying he'd be brought in for, to kind of make everything super efficient.
Okay.
Remove the waste from government and all that kind of stuff beyond the scope of our kind of talk today. So the poll is now closed. You can no longer vote either. 5 minutes left until the big kahunas make it on to the stage, or onto the big show, I mean. And remember, the afternoon rundown is your time to get the big kahunas to give you their look on the tickers that you'd like. So make sure you're voting every day. You got to be a subscriber though to vote in the chat. And it is only the top 5 that make it on. So have your friends vote your way. So, yeah.
Yes. So I got closed out of my Uber trade, looking like we're reversing a little bit at that 85.74 level. Definitely, I'm glad I got out, got a little bit of a scalp there. But one thing we forgot to talk about the viewers about is we were talking a little bit about meme coins, right? Remember?
yes.
Yes. So we got 4 minutes to go.
Yeah,
and
good
so,
call.
yeah. So, Sharif was asking me, what was the coin that you were interested in?
Okay, so I don't want to even big it up,
Okay.
because there's a chance that it's like what you talked about. But a friend of mine, look, it's a guy, that I used to talk to the markets with at the gym. He was very into crypto, so we had that kind of thing in common. So, we became friends that way. And he'd always been bumping Bitcoin. It was always Bitcoin. He never wanted to do anything with these altcoins, nothing like that. And then he started pumping this new coin. And it's like meme coins, altcoins.
Yeah.
So I was asking you, because you're the crypto queen.
Yeah.
Right? We're like, it's a trap.
It's a trap,
Fabian, right?
yeah.
And
so,
I was like, so I was asking you, I wanted to get your take on it. And you gave me some hot fire. Let them know.
yeah, for sure. So when I first got into crypto, I was in a lot of Telegram groups, and I was on the straight and narrow in terms of my crypto. I just did Bitcoin, I just did Ethereum. And so in these chats, they were pumping all these meme coins, and I was just the voice of reason, guys, don't do it. You're not safe there. And so just as a tactic, I paid someone actually to just see if I could make my own coin, just to see how easy it would be, how are these coins coming out? So I paid someone, went on Fiverr, paid someone to make a coin. 2 days later, he made the coin, and I was just like, this is how easy it is?
Wow.
It's insane. And so you guys really need to be careful with these meme coins, because it's just a marketing scheme a lot of the time. They just say it's backed by this and that, and a lot of the times there's no backing by it. It's just a nice funny meme, a nice dog, or whatever it is. And so that's what they're doing behind the scenes. So you really just want to be aware of that. Stick to the top 5 coins, stick to Bitcoin, stick to Ethereum, stick to Solana. I think that those are really good. I know ADA is up there too. I don't know, that's kind of wary. But the thing is, just stick to the top coins, because once you get into, you know, the gray area of crypto, it can really get scary out there. And so I still have the coins that I made. I didn't sell them or anything like that. I really just wanted to see how easy it could be to make a coin. And so just be safe out there, guys.
And like, can we talk about why this is even a thing? So when I first even like asked you about this, what was the word I used? Like Ponzi scheme.
Yeah, it was a Ponzi scheme,
so what's
pyramid scheme.
Yeah, exactly. So the move is that they get everyone to buy into this, kind of like a pump and dump on these small cap gappers, right? Oh, this coin or that coin is going to 1,000, whatever, right? And then everybody buys, and then the initiators of the pump and dump sell.
They
That's
just
kind of
sell
how it
off,
works,
yeah,
right?
and they take all of that liquidity, because a lot of the time, like when you are making a coin, you have to add, I mean, I guess you can get other people, but you have to add your own liquidity. For some blockchains, like they have a threshold, so sometimes, I think with Solana, it's around like $4,000 or $5,000, so you have to put in that initial liquidity, and then you get everyone to kind of get in, and obviously the coin is going to move in price because other people are buying in, but there's nothing backing it. It's not like a company like Tesla, Walmart, like there's nothing backing it. It's just simply people buying in, someone's buying higher than the other.
Fabian says it's technology.
Like,
Nah.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And like in this guy's video, man, he's trying to make the case for it. And he's like, I heard what his idea was, and I heard what what are you talking about? So tell me about the idea. Stop telling me that you heard about the idea and it sounded fantastic. Is that what they try to sell you, the technology behind it?
I could say that, you know, my coin has technology based around it. I could, you know, have some type of structure, you know, that I could make up. And so that's what a lot of people do. And so you just really have to be careful. The technology, I feel like there's only technology if it's like, I feel like the only technology ones are like the decentralized exchanges, like Sushi Coin.
Okay.
Like, I feel like those are more backed because it's automated.
Right.
So, but I don't know, when you get into the other coins, Elon Musk coin, all these other coins, just, it's scary. It's a scary place.
All right, guys, it is officially 2 o'clock. It's a Friday. I hope everybody has a fantastic weekend. I hope everybody printed up a storm. But we are now going to send you to the big kahunas on the big desk. We'll see everybody same bat time, same bat channel on Monday. Take care, guys.
Bye.
Buddy, so going to be a fun one this afternoon. I mean, the market, hey, any day the market is green,